Let's get it, 580 Sports Talk on a Wednesday afternoon. Happy hump day to everyone out there listening to 580 Sports Talk. We're with you for the next 3 hours today on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9. We are online at 580WIBW.com. And we are on video on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and on Facebook at WIBW News. Glad to have you aboard. However you're listening to the show today, thanks for being with us on 580 Sports Talk. Following a momentous, maybe, Royals win last night. Every baseball season, there are games, some wins, some losses, that you stick a pin in. And you look back in August and September and say, hey, that one meant a little extra. That was a little bit more meaningful than just one of 162. Last night's Royals game felt like one of those. Coming back from 7-2 down and beating the St. Louis Cardinals 10-7 in game one of that three-game series at Busch Stadium. Game two scheduled for tonight. I say scheduled because I have it under good authority, by which I mean I've looked at a radar map. It might get wet in St. Louis tonight. They are scheduled for baseball tonight, 6:45 first pitch, which means we'll give way to the Royals Baseball Network at 6 o'clock for pregame coverage. But there is a chance that tonight's game is affected by some precipitation hitting greater St. Louis. We'll, of course, keep you updated if anything were to happen there. But game two of the three-game series tonight, the Royals are going for a series win, as unlikely as that would have been to anyone watching the game who watched the first three innings of the contest. But the Royals rally, and they salvage Jac Caglianone's Major League debut with their best win, I think, of the 2025 season. We'll talk about all that and more today on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Brendan Wrzinski with you. Spencer Dupuis will be along a little later on.
The weather forecast, I'm looking at our friends from Weather Underground right now. Storms projected through the 7 o'clock hour, a 2-hour break, 8 and 9 o'clock, and then scattered storms again starting at 10. So
feels like a window to play ball.
Yeah,
is what I'm hearing. Yeah.
You gotta really try, but you can get it in.
If you don't feel like you can, there's always the option to just bang it, play a doubleheader tomorrow, and that would mean less work for us, more than likely. But we'll keep you up to date on any changes.
They better do a true doubleheader if that's the case, though.
Yes.
We're gonna play at 1:10 and 6:45. You coward.
No, yeah.
Play them back to back.
Play the real doubleheader. Play it old school, like in high school ball.
Or like in Ernie Banks's day.
Finish one game, get the drag out, drag the infield, play some catch, get the pitchers ready. You're good to go.
I love a good doubleheader.
That's real ball. That's real ball.
Maybe try to get Summit tonight in and just play as long as they can until the rain shows up.
They
play
could.
a partial game tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know what it's a whole process. Both teams have to kind of like be looped in, but if there is an alteration weather-wise to the Royal schedule tonight, we will let you know. I will consider if there is indeed a postponement or something tonight, if there's particularly nasty weather over Busch Stadium, I will consider that to be God punishing the Royals specifically for making Michael Massey their DH in tonight's lineup.
That's not great.
That's so gross.
It is not
the
great.
worst qualified hitter in Major League Baseball is DHing for the Royals tonight. That means Jac Caglianone is in the field. He'll be making his field debut tonight, if you want. He's scheduled to play right field and bat sixth.
Designated hitter, more like designated
outmaker.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, he need a DH for the DH. Anywho,
that joke saved for Sirius XM.
In case you missed the Jac Caglianone show last night, don't scout the box score on that one. He went 0 for 5. He was aggressive at the plate, but he hit some seeds, man, and he could have very easily had 2 hits. Just happened to, maybe even 3, just hit him to the wrong people.
He had the 2 hardest hit balls of the game per exit velocity.
Yeah, like I saw what I needed to see. Like, to a certain extent. Like, obviously, you can't go for the season. I'm going to be a little disappointed if that happens, but I feel very confident that it will not.
Yep.
And it was my first at bat that made me feel like, okay, like, I'm not looking at a one-dimensional meathead slugger here. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So we'll evaluate Cags' at-bats, talk through the rest of that comeback win last night, and look ahead to tonight's game as Noah Cameron takes the mound. He'll be facing the Cardinals for a second time this season. St. Louis's starting pitcher, Miles Mikolas. We'll preview it a little bit later on. And then, of course, at 6 o'clock, pregame coverage from the Royals Baseball Network. Going to talk some Chiefs today as well. OTAs continue on. Rashee Rice, full go, and no brace on his surgically repaired knee either.
Oh.
That feels like a big deal. We'll talk about that. Josh Simmons is already doing teamwork. And an article from a columnist over at Spotrac, which I didn't know they had columnists. I just look at them for their, contract data.
I guess if you run the site, you can do whatever you want. I believe we've had Michael Giannitti on the show before. I think he's just like the guru over there. So I guess hey, you do all this math and compiling and stuff. You can write once in a while.
Yeah, sure. No, that makes perfect sense. So he wrote an article suggesting that the Chiefs might wait to do a contract extension with one of their bright young players. So we'll talk about whether the Chiefs can really afford to wait on such a thing. And we're going to talk some K-State as well today. There is breaking news that K-State has added another piece to their men's basketball team. And I spent the better part of the morning and some of the afternoon making sure I had the pronunciation of this young man's name exactly right. The 6'7"-ish, 6'8"-ish German big man, Elias Rapiek. That is how you pronounce it. We were calling him Rapike. We were looking at the letters in the wrong grouping. It is Rapiek. Elias Rapiek.
Yeah, I was thinking French for the pronunciation. He's obviously not French. He's German. L.
Elias.
Great shot by L.
It's not that hard once you get it down. Elias Rapiek is the newest.
This is easier than Ike Gwaruka.
Or Ike Garuke. We kept moving that pronunciation around all season.
That's true.
Elias Rapiek is the newest member of the Kansas State Wildcats. We'll get to that with our Wildcat Wrap-up segment today. Tim Fitzgerald taking the week off. It was his birthday over the weekend. Happy
birthday, Fitz.
Happy 61st to Fitz. It's especially a happy occasion. You know Fitz, you know the cancer fight he's been in. When he was diagnosed, they told him he wasn't going to see 60. Birthday number 61 on Saturday. Dude's a warrior.
You know what? Dude does not look a day over 60.
Never has. Point of fact.
That seems mean, but if I told that to Fitz, he'd get a chuckle out of it.
Yes, Fitz would absolutely laugh at that. Anyway, with Fitz out this week, Ryan Gilbert from GoPowerCat.com is going to pinch hit for Fitz for the Wildcat Wrap-up. We'll talk to Ryan at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour for the Wildcat Wrap-up today. Also, I saw the 24/7 Sports crew ranking the Big 12 quarterbacks. There's a top 5 list from 2 different writers, national writers over at 24/7 Sports. And I understand why the lists are the way they are. But Avery Johnson being this low had better not be the case at the end of the season. That's all I'm going to say about it for now. That if you're just looking at the tools, these guys rated above Avery Johnson aren't better than Avery Johnson. And if you want to talk production and win losses, certainly the argument is there to be made. But Avery Johnson should be, and very well could be, at the top of these lists by the end of the year.
There are 3 guys on their respective lists, too, on both lists.
A Wednesday edition of the program. We've got our 580 Sports Talk headlines. We got another round of What Is Wrong With You. We'll play One Gotta Go. That's all coming up as we go along here today on 580 Sports Talk. We want to hear from you. The text line is open, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. Can also comment if you are watching on YouTube. We had a momentary internet loss in the building, so it knocked us off the YouTube stream for a bit, but I think we're back now. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, there is a live chat feature on the web browser, mobile device. If you're logged in, you can interact with us and your fellow listeners throughout the program today. Again, the name of the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Go subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Royals 10, Cardinals 7 last night. And look, given the Royals' season-long offensive struggles, I don't blame anybody who turned off the TV after the Alec Burleson home run in the third off of Michael Lorenzen, made it 7-2. 7 runs is more than the Royals get on a good day. I don't blame anybody for thinking it was going to be really difficult for the Royals to get to 8. Even though they scored 2 in the game's first 2 batters, boy, it felt really good, didn't it? Jonathan India gets on base. Bobby Witt Jr. cracks a home run to deep left center field, and it's 2-0 Royals before you're even sat in your seat. But when it got to 7-2, I don't blame anybody who turned the game off. And I think for a lot of people, and you can tell us if you're one of these people, maybe the only reason you kept it on was, well, it's Jac Caglianone's debut. I want to see the kid play. Even if they get beat tonight, I want to see what it looks like for the kid. I want to see what it looks like for Jac Caglianone. Well, it looked like 0 for 5, and we'll get to Jack in a little bit. But the Royals struck back with what I feel like was their best offensive inning of the season. They score 6 in the 5th to retake the lead. Back it with 2 more in the 6th, thanks to a 2-run single from Michael Garcia. And the bullpen, with 7 1/3 scoreless innings, makes it stand up as the Royals take game 1 of this 3-game series. Start with the negative to get it out of the way. Michael Lorenzen, get ready to learn swingman, buddy.
See, I would like to start positively. I don't want to start negatively. I want to congratulate Noah Cameron on earning the 5th spot in the rotation. As if there was any doubt entering yesterday, I want to congratulate the young man from St. Joseph, Missouri. You, Noah Cameron, are the Royals' new number 5 starter.
Yeah, I think that is where we're headed. Even if he struggles today, it's getting harder to justify Lorenzen's spot in the 5 hole, given how much he struggled since the start of May.
Look, to follow up on a point I made going into the Royals game last night, I know these guys are famous and wealthy beyond your imagination, well compensated, all of that. They can deal with criticism. I do feel a little bad for Michael Lorenzen he stunk yesterday. There's no getting around it. That was a terrible outing in under 3 innings. But like I said yesterday, these guys know. They get the feeling like, okay, Reagans is coming back. Only one of me and Noah is going to be in the rotation. And he's been playing really well. I need to step up, shape up or ship out essentially here, at least from the rotation. They're not going to DFA him, but I want to start. I don't want to be in the bullpen. And then within an hour of the game starting, well, I guess I'm going to the bullpen. What I wanted to do is not what's going to happen. So I feel like a little bad on a human level, but also that's 3 subpar starts in a row, and this one was a disaster. So it's really hard to argue with any sort of other outcome at this point.
Yeah, in the last 6 starts for Michael Lorenzen, an ERA now nearing 7, 24 earned runs in 31 1/3 innings. And the big culprit has been the long ball. He's given up 8 home runs in that stretch. So while his strikeout numbers are respectable and he's still not walking a bunch of guys, like the command is fine, the mistakes are getting punished. And he may benefit from going down to the bullpen, maybe simplifying his repertoire, maybe adding a tick or 2 to the fastball. Maybe it works a little better for him out of the bullpen in a long relief role. But of late, he has really been getting pounded. And the worst part of that is that 6-start stretch also includes his best start of the season. He had those 7 shutout innings against Boston back on May 9th. But since then, 4 runs in 7 1/3, 3 runs in 4 2/3 on 7 hits, 6 runs on 11 hits in 5 innings. And then last night, 7 runs, 7 hits, 2 2/3. Lorenzen dug him a hole. No doubt about it. And Daniel Lynch almost made the hole deeper, ran into a little bit of trouble in the 3rd, but thankfully for the fourth. But the good news was that Steven Cruz was able to come on and pitch Lynch out of that mess. Lynch, quiet as it's kept. We haven't really talked a whole lot about this. I've kind of alluded to this. I'm not sure how trustworthy he is right now in the bullpen. He is carrying a 195 earned run average. His fielding independent number is in the mid fours because he is not striking anyone out, and he is now walking over 5 batters per 9. The walk and the strikeout number are starting to look almost identical, and that is by no one's definition what you want. So any idea that Lynch was going to be able to capitalize on the opportunity for some more late inning work, I think right now he is sort of your left-handed Chris Stratton right now. More comfortable with him in a role like that where it is strictly long relief against a host of lefties for Lynch, as he has really struggled, even though he's been able to pitch his way out of jams. Sooner or later, you make enough messes for yourselves, you're going to step in one of them eventually, and that ERA is going to respond accordingly. But Steven Cruz has been really good. He was excellent in relief of Lynch, pitched out of a 2-on, 1-out jam in the fourth to keep it at 7-2, and then set the table for that big fifth inning for the Royals with lofted homers with 1 out, then 4 straight singles after that. Bobby Witt Jr. is the last of the group, drives in 2. And with 2 outs, Pasquantino, the double to right center field that chased in a pair. And then Salvi with the base hit to left that scored Vinny from second and gave the Royals the lead. It turned out for good. Michael Garcia had the 2-run single in the 6th to push it over the top. And I do not think, because, yeah, they scored 10 runs, and most of them came in that 2-inning stretch, but it was 10 runs for the Royals tonight on 13 hits. There were a lot of well-struck balls. There were the 2 home runs, one from Lofton, one from Witt. I do not think it's a coincidence that the Royals looked as inspired offensively as they have all season with Jac Caglianone in the dugout, in the lineup, on the big league club. I do think that lit a fire, that got guys excited, and I think there are a lot of instances over the course of 162 where you take it in the teeth in the first 3 innings, and you just kind of say, hey, you know what? Not our day. Not our day. You don't mail it in, but the intensity drops just a little bit because you feel like, hey, look, we'll get them tomorrow.
Joe on the YouTube chat, and again, you can watch us 580 Sports Talk on YouTube if you haven't checked us out already. Joe says he thought they were going to make Lorenzen wear it, and I actually agree. When I saw, because I didn't get to the game in the first couple innings, when I saw what was going on, I thought, yeah, I mean, you might just save the pen here at least a little bit and just have Lorenzen work through it. But I agree with Joe's secondary comment. Like, I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they found a way to get out of it. And yeah, you get a guy like Cruz who continues to step up, and I would love to see him get some of those Lynch innings. I'm right there with you on that. But one of the things that has really impressed me last season about the Royals, it hasn't come up nearly as much this year, but they were a 9-inning team last year. They were very much a team where it never felt like they were out of it. There was never a moment where, Mike Matheny teams, and not to, kick them all down too much, but like if those teams went down 6-3 in the 6th inning, you didn't have to keep watching. There was no need.
Losing becomes a habit.
Yes.
And I think for those late stage Matheny teams, losing became a habit for the Royals.
And for whatever technical or strategic complaints you could or do have about Matt Quattrero, and I don't think all those are unfounded by any means, there is something to be said for this team is always game for 9 innings. This is not a team that quits. This is a team that maybe doesn't play well, but it's not a team that gives up. And you can tell there is absolutely a difference. And I think last night was, certainly the biggest example of that this season and one of the biggest of this Quattrero era. And I do think that is something that you can put on the manager as a positive. It doesn't always make a difference. I think it clearly did last night, though.
Yeah, that was a team that was not ready to call it good for the night. That was a team that dug in and put together the good at bats, got to Palante the 3rd time through the order, and just built that rally. And you could sense that it was something that had been building in that dugout and something that had felt, I think, a little bit cathartic for this Royals team that hasn't been able to put innings like that together. But that's a different energy. And that's an energy that you create when you bring up the number one prospect and you say, hey, look, hasn't been good enough. So here's Jac Caglianone. Here's our best prospect. He's been tearing at the minor leagues. And like I said, like the guys in the clubhouse knew what Jack was doing to AA pitching, AAA pitching. They saw it in spring training, how talented he could be. Every one of those guys, to a man. Vinny Pasquantino, to anyone who will listen, tells you how excited he is about Jac Caglianone. Every one of them knew, and they know what's going on. Maybe they're not, maybe, they don't go into the clubhouse after a game and say, hey, dial up MILB TV. Let's watch the Storm Chaser game. But they're all aware of what's going on. They understood that there was a stud waiting to come and help them. And when he got to the major leagues, I think that's a spark. Just him being there was a spark last night. And even though he didn't get a hit last night, there was a lot to like. We're going to get to Jac Caglianone a little bit. I want to make one more point. It wasn't a clean ninth inning. The tying run did end up coming to the plate. But when we were talking about possible Royals All-Stars on yesterday's show, just kind of briefly, just kind of an offhand conversation. Voting open today, by the way, for the Major League Baseball All-Star game. We overlooked Carlos Estevez, who on the year leads the American League with 17 saves. He's got a 1.71 earned run average, not giving up a lot of hits, keeping the walks in check, has yet to allow a home run this season. And those 17 saves have come in 18 opportunities. So he only has a one blown save, and that was against the Rockies. Royals came back and won that game. Estevez has been really, really good. I think he's got an outside chance to make his second All-Star team as the Royals close.
And they've really needed him to be that good too. Now that Urseg is hurt as well, because I don't want to say, like, I went into this year and through a large portion of the early part of this season would have told you I still think Urseg is the best talent they've got in the bullpen. And that might still be true, but in terms of actually producing and stepping up when needed, Estevez has been great. He's been everything the Royals could have hoped for and more.
So we'll take a quick time out here on 580 Sports Talk. Still to come, our evaluation of Jac Caglianone. In case you missed any of his 5 at-bats, we'll walk you through them and talk about what we saw, what was really positive about Jac's first major league game. We're also going to play a little One Gotta Go later on this hour. We got some K-State talk with Ryan Gilbert, bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Chiefs tidbits from OTAs. It's a jam-packed Wednesday show. We're so glad you're with us here on 580 Sports Talk. 3:32. We're just underway on 580 Sports Talk. Dan and Brendan with you. Spencer will be along later on. In shouting out the bullpen, a couple of other guys shouting out the Royals bullpen from last night. 7 1/3 shutout innings in relief of Michael Lorenzen. Christopher in the YouTube comments says, anybody who thought Taylor Clark would be an 8th inning setup man in June is smoking the good stuff. Yeah, Clark's not overpowering anybody, but yeah, it's just one clean inning after another from Taylor Clark. He takes the ball, he gets 3 outs, and goes about his day. He's been incredibly effective. Only 4 hits allowed in 13 innings. The only run he's given up has been on a solo home run, and he's only walked one guy. Command was always kind of his stock and trade. That good year, or decent year, I guess, he had with the Royals back in 2022. He only walked a batter and a half per 9. So a guy can fill up the strike zone. And, yeah, he has worked his way into some higher leverage responsibilities for sure. He worked the 8th last night. Angel Zerpa combined with John Schreiber to take care of the 6th. That is now
high leverage ace Angel Zerpa.
Last 10 appearances for Zerpa, only 1 run allowed in 9 innings. He's not striking guys out, but he's also avoiding the loud contact. You toss out the one blow-up outing Zerpa had where he gave up the 5 runs on the 2 dingers against Boston back on May 10th. Toss that out. His ERA for the season is an even 3. So,
okay,
he has allowed 4 home runs, but none since Boston. This is not me advocating to lifetime extension for Angel Zerpa. Just that he has steadily seen some better results, maybe leaning a little bit more on some of that ground ball contact that he's capable of getting. That walk, he issued a walk last night. It was the only walk he's issued in his last 10 appearances as well. So doing a good job. Keep the ball in the ballpark and don't walk guys, and you're 2/3 of the way there. If you strike out a bunch of guys, that's how you be a top end, well above average reliever. But you have to do 2 of those 3 things. You have to keep the ball in the park. You have to not walk guys. You have to strike out a bunch of guys. You do 2 of those 3 things, you can have success out of a bullpen.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, Angel Zerpa is doing 2 of those 3 things. And Taylor Clark's doing 2 out of those 3 things as well. They got a bunch of guys doing 2 of those 3 things. And it's why the Royals bullpen's been as good as it has been. But what about Jac? Let's talk about the big kid, huh? Jac Caglianone, major league debut last night. He went 0 for 5. And if you're just scouting the stat line, you say, oh, man, bummer, 0 for 5. Tough. Hang with him, kid. It really was a hang with him last night because it very nearly looked like he was going to have his first big league hit in his first big league at bat. He got behind in the count, and Andre Palante threw him a 2-strike breaking ball on the outer half of the plate. And that's one, if you're a little overeager, a little over-anxious, you're a young hitter, you're trying to make a good impression, that's one. You see the curveball, it's going to be a strike, you take a big rip, you pull your head, you swing and miss, you walk back to the dugout, learning experience. Cags stayed back on the breaker, and even though he front-footed it a little bit, he was still a little bit out in front, and I didn't think he caught it great. I thought he kind of caught it off the end of the bat. He hit it 392 feet to right center field. Only a great running catch by an elite defensive center fielder, Victor Scott, robbed Cags of extra bases on his first at bat. You kind of learn it the hard way that they catch those in the major leagues. They don't have guys who catch those in the Pacific Coast League.
No,
but they catch those in the bigs. Same deal with his second at bat. He got a first pitch fastball. He hit it on the button, 112 miles per hour. He hit it to Nolan Arenado, the best defensive third baseman of his generation. Even he said after the game, he said, for a second I thought it might have been a hit, and then I remembered, that's 6-time Platinum Glove winner Nolan Arenado over there, so probably not. He had a good sense of humor about it after the game. Wrong guy to hit it to, but hey, you hit the ball 112 miles an hour off the bat, you did something well with your process. Third at bat, he was facing a left-handed reliever, got behind 0-2, stayed back, I thought, on the breaking ball really well. Didn't seem to be fooled, recognized the pitch, beat it into the ground, grounded out. Fourth at bat, seeing his third different pitcher, a new lefty. He was hunting fastball again. It was a good pitch. King, I think the reliever's name, beat him inside, and Cags kind of fisted it out towards short and third, and Arenado was playing there in a bit of an overshift and fielded it and threw him out. And that's another one where not Arenado, not as easy a play, but since it is a 6-time Platinum Glove winner, that's the outcome you get. His last at bat against Matt Swanson in the 8th inning or 9th inning, got another first pitch hack, hit the ball 114 miles an hour, but also hit it right at the ground, right on the ground at somebody. So The exit velocities, which have been premium for Cags going back to the SEC and through his minor league career, those, at least in game one, translated to the major leagues. I would have liked to have seen him be a little bit more patient. It's great that you're jumping on the first strike you see, but they do have to throw you 3 of those. And I think at a point you get a little bit more choosy over time. But I like that he was aggressive. I like that he went after fastballs. I like that he wasn't fooled by breaking balls. If you thought, and it's understandable to think this if you're not like seeing the guy play and all you know is what's in the scouting report. And what was in the scouting report for Jac Caglianone was power. And you can be forgiven, I think, for interpreting that to, okay, he's going to hit the ball a long way, but there's going to be a lot of swing and miss in his game. But I don't think we're going to see like a problematic amount of swing and miss.
This isn't going to be like, name sluggers from the mid-2010s who struck out 200 times a year. Like, he's not going to be Mark Reynolds. He's not going to be Mark Trumbo. Wow, the Orioles struck out a lot. Chris Davis. Wow, the Orioles struck out a lot. The other Chris Davis, okay, an A. Like, he's not Adam Dunn. I don't think he's going to be a guy like that. Dunn was a good player, but by the end of his career, he was either home run or strikeout.
The guy that you think of where, the power and the strikeouts almost got to the point where they canceled each other out, Joey Gallo.
I don't think he will ever be that guy.
He doesn't look like a Joey Gallo to me because, again, I saw it in the first at bat. His ability on 2 strikes to keep himself back enough on that curveball and get to it and generate that kind of power without swinging hard. That's the other thing that's exciting about Caglianone, because a lot of times hitters think that to get to the in-game power, they've got to swing from their heels. To get the most out of their power hitting potential, they've got to try to hit for power. Jac Caglianone seems to be a very self-aware hitter in the sense that he knows he just has to touch it. He doesn't have to necessarily barrel a middle pitch to hit his home runs. He knows he generates power and generates backspin in a way that's really, really rare and potentially really special. And so he's not going to overextend himself trying to drive the ball. He knows he can just do it. And so I thought it was a very mature approach in his first big league at bat in that regard. I did think he got a little jumpy on some later at bats, but that's understandable for a kid in his first game. And you're the only guy without a hit, right? Like everybody else is doing damage in the lineup, and you're the guy that doesn't have a hit yet. You get a little jumpy. You want to join the party.
Someone's got to make the outs. It just sucks that it's the guy making his first appearance. Like, almost felt like the sacrificial lamb a little bit. But so I get it. He's still young. You want to be part of it. Okay, I hit the ball hard. Okay, I hit the ball hard. Okay, I want to actually get a hit here. I understand. I'm willing to wave my hands at that one or those last couple. And even in the 9th inning, he walloped a ball.
Yes, he hit it on the screws. He just happened to hit it on the ground. And, you hit enough balls 114 miles an hour, even on the ground, they're going to find their way through. They're going to eat some defenders up. You're going to find your way on base. Hitting the ball hard is the most important thing you can do. It's why that, we talked about Michael Garcia in that, even though he was terrible last year, by all accounts, he still has the ability to hit the ball hard. And now we're seeing the breakout year for Michael because he still has that skill set. And that's what's going to give Jac Caglianone a chance. That's why he's not just going to be a one-dimensional slugger in this Royals lineup. The idea is that he's a guy, maybe not a 300 hitter, but if he's somebody who's good enough to hit 250, 260 with the power and not just an Adam Dunn who strikes out 220 times or not a Joey Gallo, that's going to be really, really nice for this Royals lineup to have. And look, he was the only guy without a hit. Even the guys behind him, Nick Lofton stole his home run. That's what happened. Nick Lofton went yard. That was great to see. Drew Waters had a big hit. Kyle Isbell, 2 more singles up the middle. His on-base percentage is only 9 points higher than his batting average, and that's not great. But when your batting average is 284 and you're batting 9th, that's livable. You can deal with that. So it was good stuff all the way around, even for the guy that went 0 for 5, and it won't be long. Hitting the ball with that kind of authority and having that kind of approach, it won't be long until Jac Caglianone has his first big league hit and many, many more to come. We'll take a timeout, come back, play One Gotta Go on 580 Sports Talk. One gotta go here on 580 Sports Talk. I've actually got a 5-way today.
Heyo!
One gotta go. The primary hat for all 5 AL Central teams. The Old English D for the Tigers, the C that the Cleveland Guardians have taken to using, the new M with the star on it for the Minnesota Twins, the classic blue KC for the Royals, and the iconic Sox black with white letters for the Chicago White Sox. One of those hats got to go.
So I actually have a visual aid for my answer today. If you're watching on the YouTube, you'll be able to see that I am currently holding up the garbage can from the control room.
Yes, you are.
This is where you can put the Cleveland Guardians hat.
Wow.
Directly in here. No, it sucks. They had to change their name. I know that still riles some folks up. You shouldn't use the name Indians anymore. It's just not,
2025.
Yeah. I have no problem with them changing the name. Come up with a better logo than some janky-ass C. It looks like crap. Throw it away. I don't really like the Twins either. I would give that a net negative grade, but I really do not like Cleveland's. The other 3 are, iconic.
Yeah.
I really like the other 3.
There's no the Tigers will never change their primary hat. The White Sox should never change again. And
it's literally the only thing cool about the White Sox is their hat.
I suspect they won't. The White Sox used to change, every decade or so.
At the time, I'm sure it was stupid. Right now, though, the retro, late 70s, early 80s White Sox with the batter, sick.
Yes.
Sick as hell.
And that style of uniform is in vogue now.
Yeah, it
youth
is.
Baseball teams, the pullover with, the
Oh, wait,
team.
you mean shorts?
No, not the shorts. Not the shorts. Also iconic, but in a very different way. But no, the White Sox changed their look in 1991, and they're never going to change again.
No, they shouldn't.
Instantly perfect, and they'll never change again. Yeah, the Royals, I don't think will ever go away from that blue KC, nor should they. I actually don't really love the Minnesota look. I like the TC. I don't like that they went away from the TC or the lowercase M. Because I associate that with them being good,
Kirby Puckett,
winning World Series and stuff. I associate this M with Byron Buxton limping off the field.
I always think it's the Marlins.
That's true. It does resemble the Marlins too much as well.
I guess I could go either way on those two. I think the Guardians one is ugly. I think that's an ugly font they use for their C. The Twins one is just so unremarkable. Oh wow, you're M.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really like either. I would dump both if I could.
All right, you've got a one gotta go today?
All right, I've got a 2-parter. I'm going to let
you
you choose your own adventure where we start.
Okay.
One of these I think is a little funnier. One is a little more disgusting. It's college basketball themed. In fact, one I would say is almost diabolical.
Let's do the funnier one then.
All right, I'm going to give you 4 Kansas Jayhawks basketball players of semi-recent vintage. One's got to go. Dwight Colby, Hunter Mickelson, Sam Cunliffe, KJ Lawson. One's got to go.
Cunliffe.
Wow, that was fast. Wow.
They couldn't get on the floor. Those other guys could play.
Dog, KJ Lawson could not play.
Well, could play is relative, but got to play. Sam Cunliffe could get on the floor.
I think I'd go KJ Lawson.
Wow.
He was just he had that one game. He had the game tying shot and then game winning shot against TCU. He was so bad. He was only there because his brother was there.
I remember the Dwight Colby era at KU. He backed up Landon Lucas on the Elite 8 team in 2018. And I remember this is when I knew KU was going to lose to Oregon in the Elite 8 when they put Dwight Colby in the game. Yes. Bill Self did not know what to do at that point. He put Dwight Colby in. I think Jordan Bell made him eat the basketball instantly. Yeah. And he was doing that to everybody, but he did it to Dwight Colby. I'm pretty sure I remember. Yeah. His older brother played for those that undefeated Wichita State team.
Really?
Yeah, Kadeem Colby. Yeah.
I did not know that.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd probably go KJ. Good for Hunter. Not even mentioning Hunter Mickelson. Good for him.
Not a skilled player.
No, but he was big.
Tall. Yeah, he was tall.
The basketball tournament legend, Hunter Mickelson. All right, the more disgusting one.
Oh, boy.
4 Kansas State players. Antonio Gordon, Casey Eziagu, McCole Maween, Montavious Murphy.
So I have to keep 3 of these.
You have to keep 3 of them.
Can I get
3 of them are going to be the core of your basketball team?
Okay. All right.
So you are going to finish last in your conference.
Look, junior year McCole Maween was fine. Junior year, McCole Ween was complimentary to Dean Wade and Barry Brown and Kamau Stokes and those guys.
They just needed, and sorry to be kind of brazen here, they needed an ass. That's what they needed. They needed a dude with some butt.
Yes, taller guy. They needed a 5, so Dean Wade didn't play the 5. And McCole Ween had a fine junior year. When it was him and Xavier Sneed left the next season, McCole Ween as a senior was one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen. I remember,
I have a McCole Ween game poster in my office.
I remember a game where he got out-rebounded by Austin Budke.
I remember that same game.
Yeah, man. Like, Casey Eziagu was immobile. Just couldn't move. Antonio Gordon and Montavious Murphy, I feel like at least gave you some hustle. I'm gonna toss Casey out. He couldn't move.
Well, it was also unfortunate for him. He had that horrible leg injury that he never really recovered from. There were a lot of guys.
His fault, but he couldn't move.
No, I'd probably go Eziagu too. At one point, I had Sergi Lewis on this list. Carlton Lingard was also in my rough draft.
See, those guys ended up being, Lingard ended up being a useful college basketball player somewhere else.
Yeah. Not at Kansas State. But I did not go as far as James Love. I stopped shy of James Love.
Yeah, that would have been.
Whose biggest contribution to Kansas State basketball was Fran Fraschilla ripping him a new one over with our friends on the game at K-Man, saying that he showed more hustle in the fight at Allen Fieldhouse than he did in 3 years playing for the team.
So those white linen pants he was wearing.
Just zapped
He
him.
did. Never got further off the bench than that. Sergi Lewis, if College Basketball Reference is correct, Sergi Lewis just concluded his sophomore season at Western Michigan.
What? That's not possible.
Yeah.
How many red shirts did this guy get?
Lots.
Red shirt sophomore. That's what their website says.
Incredible. Because he played 18 games at K-State in 2020-21. So I guess that's your COVID year. That's the freebie. Then did not play, and then played at Rice 2022-23. Then did not play, then played at Western Michigan. I don't know. There must be at College Basketball References a show like lower level, like D2 or JUCO or whatever stats. Maybe
yes, that is because he played. I thought this was an online college. Were you aware that Kaiser University is a real school?
No, man. That they advertised during the Maury show. That's not a real school.
I thought that was an online college. I really did. It's NAIA, allegedly.
Nah, man. They play in the same conference as National American University.
No, this is like
DeVry.
Seriously, that's like I work during the day and go to school at night. I swear to God.
Ads during Judge Judy.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. 23-24, he spent at Kaiser.
Shout out to DeVry, though. They had a real athletic department. They lost to Troy State back when it was Troy State, not just Troy. Troy scored the most points in the history of Division I basketball game against DeVry.
I did know that.
There is a great video about that. John Boyce of SB Nation did a whole video about where he actually went through and watched the game film and said, actually, the number that has been in the record books for years is actually wrong.
I remember watching that.
Yeah, they scored, Troy scored, was it 277 points?
Something like that,
against DeVry. So, DeVry had a real athletic department for a time.
Barely.
We'll take a break, come back, wrap up the 3 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk. of the 4 o'clock hour of the show, the latest from Chiefs OTAs, including more welcome news about Rashee Rice and Josh Simmons. We got What Is Wrong With You and Ryan Gilbert pinch hitting for Tim Fitzgerald on the Wildcat Wrap-up. We'll talk K-State news, including the addition of the German big man that they added earlier today. But before we get to the top of the hour, Brendan, tell the people about Chingawassa Days.
Chingawassa Days, Dan, coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday, down in lovely Marion, Kansas, just about an hour south here of the capital city. 2 days, all sorts of family fun events. Got a cornhole tournament with a cash prize, a free barbecue if you're there on Friday, all sorts of other activities that are fun for the whole family, plus live music both days. 3 different local acts on Friday. Then on Saturday, Southall is the opener, and the Josh Abbott Band is the headliner on Saturday night. That's this Saturday on the 7th. Your tickets are good for both days. $30 ahead of time, $40 at the gate, and I've got a family 4-pack for you for free. You don't have to pay anything. We just need some information from you, and we are going to give these away, and we are going to go make it simple. Once again, caller number 1 to 785-272-9429. A family 4-pack to Chingawassa Days is yours. We'll find our winner and get to the 4 o'clock hour after this on 580 Sports Talk.
Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk, hour number 2 on the program today on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for being with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and of course, on our video stream. You can catch us on YouTube, our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. You can also watch us on Facebook at WIBW News. Gang's all here. Dan Lucero, Brendan Dworzinski, Spencer Dupuis. We're here until 6 o'clock. Our understanding is there will be Royals baseball tonight. There was a tornado warning for greater St. Louis about an hour or so ago. So some gnarly weather moving in. I don't know how long we'll hang around, if it will at all impact baseball tonight, but still are anticipating a 6:45 first pitch in the Lou tonight as the Royals go for a series win over the Cardinals. Noah Cameron, Miles Michaelis, the starting pitching matchup. Jac Caglianone will bat 6th, then play right field in his second big league game tonight. Pre-game coverage starting at 6 o'clock here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9.
An even bigger bat and ball sport game coming up tonight. Andrew in the YouTube comments asks, where's everyone watching Nigeria Kennedy tonight? I have 2 places. I'm trying to determine where I'm going to go. I might be watching on the basement TV, but if I'm too lazy to walk down the stairs, I will be watching on the living room TV.
Too lazy to walk down the stairs.
It's a long way down. There's like 14 steps.
Whoa.
So
14, maybe 15. The kitchen is closer to the living room TV.
We go down to the basement a lot less these days because you got to take the kiddo downstairs, and he's getting a little bit more adventurous. You don't want him to round corners. He shouldn't play with things. He shouldn't. Things like that. Playing with him last night. And he's getting good at like stacking things. That's his new thing now. He likes to stack things and then knock them over and stack them again and knock them over. So we were doing that during the Royals game last night. Because I was going to ask after the Royals won 10-7 last night. You guys didn't bail on it, did you? When it got to 7-2?
No,
because I was. I think I would have under normal circumstances.
I don't think I was paying especially close attention there for a little bit, but I did not abandon it completely.
I think had it not been Jac Caglianone's big league debut, I very well might have bailed on it.
Yeah.
I very well might have said, yeah, it's not their night. And I would have come back after they took the lead and would have, but I think I might have. I think I might have called it good. But my wife went to bed early. She wasn't feeling great last night. So she went to bed after we put Asher down, and that was right around when the Royals started their rally. I got the TV turned on for the 5th, so I saw the good stuff, and from there saw the good stuff after that. So
I took a little break in the inning where they tacked on some runs, but I was upstairs just cleaning out some stuff, and all of a sudden I heard it. I had it down on the downstairs on the TV, so I could hear Jake Eisenberg get pretty hype when they were scoring the runs.
Jake does a good job. I like his call of the game.
I do. I like him better on radio than on TV. That's not a knock. I just think that he is really good on the radio. And I think that he is very descriptive. And I think that his style and the way that he broadcasts a game, I think it plays really well on the radio. I think that he and Ryan Lefevre are both terrific. Like the Royals fans, you're spoiled. You've got some really, really good play-by-play folks. And of course, the great Denny Matthews, who's been around literally the entire time the Royals have. I know opinions are split on Rex Hudler, but ours is a pro Rex Hudler household. So you're not gonna ever get me to say anything bad about Rex.
I generally think of a word that rhymes with split when I think of him in the booth.
Wow. It took me a second. I had to think about that.
I didn't want to lose my job, but that's how I feel.
That's good. You'd be very difficult to replace. Let's
nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Just a pain in my butt to try and find somebody.
I was going to say, just a pain to do, not necessarily to replace. Yeah.
Text line is open, 785-272-9429. Want to hear from you, 785-272-9429. You can also interact in the chat on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. If you are watching the program, want to hear from you in the chat. Again, 580 Sports Talk is the name of the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can join the fray that way. Still to come this hour, we got 2 new stories on what is wrong with you that we're going to bring you. Both of these are Florida stories today. I know you'll be stunned to hear that if you are a longtime listener to the program. Also, we got the Wildcat Wrap-up with Ryan Gilbert today, and that is not a permanent change, just a temporary replacement for Tim Fitzgerald, who is off enjoying some personal time this week. So in his stead, another talented Go PowerCat staffer, Ryan Gilbert. He's been on the program before, and we're happy to have Ryan again to talk about what is a big day for Kansas State athletics. They are cleaning up in the football recruiting world, and they have added Elias Rapiek, the German big man, to their men's basketball roster as well. So lots to get to with Ryan Gilbert coming up at the bottom of this hour on the Wildcat Wrap-up. Before we get to the Chiefs, question from Ryan, and we are equipped to answer this question here. We were talking about this when he started doing it. Ryan, we were talking about Rex Hudler. Ryan wants to know what Rex is saying after the Royals win games, particularly when they win games that are saved by Carlos Estevez, which is most of them because the Royals seem to only win games that are needing saving.
Getting saved.
Yeah, they're not winning a lot of laughers this year. Not a lot of 8-2, stretch the legs, Chris Stratton works the ninth, like those kinds of games this year. Not a lot of those. A lot of Carlos Estevez saves this season. So what Rex Hudler is saying is a reference to what Carlos Estevez is doing. When he celebrates a save, it looks like he is throwing an imaginary fireball towards, usually he's throwing at Bobby Witt Jr. or Jonathan India, whoever happens to be like up the middle of the infield at the time. But that is a reference to an anime. I believe it's Dragon Ball Z. And I don't know a lot about this. I had to do my Googles too, but I do the Google so I can serve the people. And what the character Goku says as he's throwing his magical fireball that destroys everything is he says, Kamehameha. And that is what Rex Hudler is saying, because that is what Carlos Estevez is doing. He's doing the Kamehameha.
Or Kamehameha.
That's what I always thought it was. Like, I saw it in print. I'm like, oh, yeah, Kamehameha. Like the Hawaiian king, I think.
Yeah, I've always heard Kamehameha, but.
Yeah, Kamehameha I, the king of Hawaii, the conqueror, first ruler of the kingdom of Hawaii. That may be what it's a reference to within the show. That may be where it came from. I'm sure it's where it came from. But yes, in the world of Dragon Ball, it is the most widely used finishing attack and the signature technique of Goku in the Dragon Ball series. Yes.
I've been saying that for many years.
So
some things I didn't know that did I really need to know?
Yeah, I think you do. Ryan wanted to know, so we had to answer the question. Yeah, that's again, I do the Google so I can serve the people. I've never watched an episode of, I'm not an anime guy, not really a big cartoon guy at the end of the day.
Which is hilarious given what your favorite show is.
Well, like The Simpsons is a sitcom. It just happens to be hand-drawn. It's not a cartoon.
My wife hates animated shows for adults. Like, I one time asked if she liked Archer. She goes, no, it's animated. I don't like it. Simpsons, no. Family Guy, no. American Dad, no. None of the. BoJack Horseman, no. None of them.
So American Dad and Family Guy, if I'm not mistaken, are the same voice people.
Yeah,
they're both Seth MacFarlane shows.
I tried to watch American Dad one night. I just threw it on the TV. It was on, whatever was on, after 10 o'clock on YouTube TV after a game ended. And Olivia goes, ew, American Dad. I'm like, what? And then I switched over to Family Guy. She's like, that's. I was like, they're the same. They're literally like the same thing.
Same
just
animation.
Slightly different.
Same showrunner.
Yeah, same guy
voices,
created it. Same voiceover actors. Like, what's the difference?
I never watched American Dad.
I've seen like all of one episode. I barely watched Family. Not really my cup of tea.
So anyhow, that is hopefully that answers your question there, Ryan, that it's Kamehameha is what Rex Hudler is saying. I can just imagine how delighted he was to gain that information, to understand what
I'm
it
sure
was.
He was thrilled.
Oh, yeah. I bet he loves it.
How long do you think it took him to master saying it to say it on the broadcast?
I bet he did it all day. Like, I think
Yeah.
he learned it and just did it all day until he nailed it. And I'm not even being critical there. Like, I actually think that would be, I'm
Well,
complimenting him.
the first time he did it, like, I didn't know what he was talking about. I think he said it like he was like Kami-ha-mi-ha, which is not quite right. So he's refined it. He's gotten it down.
Vance is correct. I don't think Rex Hudler knows what Rex Hudler is saying most of the time. It's very much like, okay, Grandpa, let's go back to bed. That's very much
it's not like that at all.
When I hear Rex Hudler, that's how I feel.
That is not the vibe I get from him at all, the confused grandfather. I just think he's really excited and sometimes like talks himself into a circle like a dog chasing a tail.
Well, dogs get old too.
Not this one. Not the Wonder Dog. Young forever. I'll fight. I'll ride or die. I'll ride or die for Rex Hudler. I'm
forever young.
It's just not. He's just not for me.
That's fine. I understand that. Like I do. I get that some people like a little bit more seriousness with their baseball analysis. Like,
see, it's not even that. Like, I like a good goofy broadcast. I was listening to the Cubs broadcast of the Cubs-Nats game. By the way, another Cubs win for the 580 Sports Talk Derby. And like they were off their rocker last night, but it was funny. I just think Rex Hudler is like too weird. Too weird for me is not an easy.
I would agree. There's sometimes when he makes comments, and I'm just like, why are you saying this?
Like,
what makes you want to say
all
this?
I know is that there's never been a greater moment in baseball broadcasting history than the time he identified
I know what this is.
The moon is a planet. So they showed a full moon. You have to find this clip, Spencer. If you've never seen it, you find it on your own time. But yes, they showed a full moon. It was HUD was doing the game with Ryan Lefevre, and they showed the full moon. And Rex says something effective. Look at that beautiful planet up there. And there's a period of silence. And in the perfect tone, Ryan Lefevre says, "Well, that's the moon."
He is the funny part.
Yeah,
that's the great comedic timing.
Yeah. They play off of each other well. The comedic balance, I think.
You do need a good play-by-play guy when you have a goofy color guy.
There's also the time, and I don't even know if I can say this, but
I know the one you're going to bring up.
So yeah,
I just watched the moon one.
So yeah, it is. It's a great clip. Anyway, there's also a time, I think it was on a pregame show, and the night before, Paulo Orlando had hit a game-winning home run, and something about, he's not Paulo double O or triple O, he's Paulo game-winning homo. And that is what he said. That clip is out there. And I think it startled somebody in the truck so bad that like the color bars went up for half a second. Like they
gotta be careful.
Yeah, they couldn't believe what they had heard.
There's a 7.5 minute video on YouTube. Rex Hudler best moments.
Yes, familiarize yourself.
Rex Hudler being an idiot. The moon is a planet. In the graphic.
Familiarize yourself with the works of Rex Hudler. Anyhow,
that might be a between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock.
There you go. Yeah, knock yourself out. We got to talk some football here. It is OTAs continuing in Kansas City. The Chiefs having their second Wednesday session. The Wednesday sessions during the 2-week-long OTA periods are open to the media. So the media got to go and take some film and report on what they saw, tell everybody what they got to see at a One Arrowhead Drive. And the most notable thing anybody saw today was Rashee Rice, a full go with no knee brace. And everybody watching today, and again, you got to take this with a certain amount of grain of salt because every pass catcher and pass thrower is supposed to look good at OTAs. This is pass skeleton, essentially. This is passing practice. So receivers, pass catchers, like I know people are raving today about, Jake Brenningstool had another really good public workout. Yeah, he should. Like every pass catcher should look good in these drills. But they threw to Robert Tonyan a lot today. Great. And Pro Bowl Robert Tonyan soon come. Is he coming for Travis Kelce's gig? No. He just happened to be a veteran tight end. They're seeing if he's got any legs left because Travis Kelce's not even at OTA.
He can barely move. Yeah.
Right.
Travis Kelce's not there?
No, he's not there. He's not working out.
Oh, well, he's there.
He's not on the field. He's not practicing, not doing the team stuff. Rashee Rice was, and he was doing it without a knee brace. So we are 8 months out from a pretty significant knee injury. And Rashee Rice is already, and obviously, this is non-contact, this is low impact stuff. You'd think, if there were a real game tomorrow, he would certainly be wearing a brace. But if he felt comfortable enough to go through workouts without the stabilizing effect of a brace, tells you he's feeling confident on the knee, tells you that doctors are feeling confident on the knee. They're not telling him he's got to wear a brace. And if he's out there and he's a full go, setting aside, because people do ask us about this, and we don't have a clear answer on this, setting aside whatever punishment might be lingering from the NFL from his hit and run incident 2 off seasons ago, it sure looks like Rashee Rice is going to be no restrictions for week 1 in September. And that's really exciting. And the more that he can do now, the more you feel like, okay, they're really going to have an idea of what their passing game is going to look like and is supposed to look like with Rice, Worthy, Brown, Royals, whoever else you want to throw in, Kelsey, obviously. That gives me hope that we can see a fully realized Chiefs passing attack in 2025 in a way we didn't really see it in 2024. And I don't think we've been able to see it in the last couple of years because of the limitations of that receiver group.
I'm glad that there is reason to be excited from OTAs. Like, I'm glad that we're not, like, wow, these dudes are all bums. This sucks. They're gross. That's certainly positive. They need to find something different. It doesn't need to be completely overhauled, but they need to find some sort of different flavor from the pass catcher group this season if they want to stay on top of their game, because they are. I feel like the Chiefs have been treated very strangely this offseason because of the way the Super Bowl went. Like, guys, they went to a 3rd straight Super Bowl. The Chiefs didn't even get close to winning the 3rd Super Bowl. I saw that at one point this offseason. It's like, actually, they've gotten closer than anyone ever has. Like,
right, literally.
I do not understand some of the coverage the Chiefs have gotten. I don't think it's from all corners. I do think there are some people who have just sort of like placed the Bills and Ravens above them, and no, neither of them can beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. They are still yet to do it.
They've got to prove that they can do it before you take them seriously, their ability to do it.
Now, that being said, those teams I do think are finding ways to adapt or change or improve, and the Chiefs will not be at the very top forever. So you do have to find ways to adapt yourself to keep improving. You have to find things you can continue to work on. If the Chiefs came out with the exact same playbook and ideas and philosophy about winning games in 2025 as they did in 2024, I do not think they will make it to the AFC Championship game. I do not. I think other teams will have surpassed them. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm just saying that that's how I see this. So is it going to be Rashee Rice is just awesome and stays healthy and doesn't get suspended, and that's what it is? Maybe. It's certainly possible. Is it, hey, Jake Briningstool is actually good? Like, that's an NFL player who slipped through the cracks on draft weekend. Okay, great. Like, let's see it. Let's see it in action. Let's see an offense that is not built to completely funnel through 87 and is going to do some different things going forward. That's all I'm looking for from OTAs to training camp to the start of the season, whatever it is. I just want to see something different. And I think the Chiefs have put themselves in a position this year where we will see that, where we will get that. And again, it doesn't have to be totally different. Like, Hollywood Brown did play at the end of last season. He also looked fat and slow relative to his body type. I think being healthy throughout the preseason this year will be good for him. And I think he will be a bigger part of the team this year. I think a healthy Rashee Rice can change everything for this team this year on the offensive side of the ball. I think Jalen Royals is going to play a role. I don't know if it's a huge role. I don't think it's going to be as impactful as Rashee Rice's rookie season 2 years ago when he had one of the best rookie receiving seasons that an Andy Reid player has ever had.
And it shouldn't have to be with three veteran guys in front of it. Shouldn't have to have that kind of impact.
So, and Xavier Worthy hopefully will learn that the play ends when you step on the sideline this year, and you are going to get a better version of him into the second year of his career. So there's a lot of reasons to expect that. I just need to see it somehow, some way, somehow. We need to see an adjustment with the pass catcher group and the passing game in general, because I don't want to completely absolve Mahomes, even if I think he's taken more flack than he deserves. He's got to find something this year. And do OTAs mean anything? Not really, as long as your guys are staying healthy. But again, I'd rather hear all these good things than like, yeah, we got a lot of questions.
So speaking of the pass catcher group, Dave Tobe spoke today. A lot of the assistant coaches spoke today, and he talked about the possibility of Xavier Worthy returning punts. They said, quote, He planned on being our guy until Rashee Rice got hurt. That changed everything for that dynamic. He ended up being the number one for us last year, so we couldn't afford to have him back there. I say he's the best punt returner nobody knows about right now in the league, and so hopefully we get him back there too. I think the Chiefs have too many like functional wide receivers that should help them that they can't really afford to carry like a wide receiver 5 who's just the punt guy, like Nico Remigio. I don't think has a space in this group. I know Brashard Smith was a good returner in college, but I do think that there's a path to more Xavier Worthy in special teams if Rashee Rice is healthy as well. And that could really bolster that side of the game as well for the Chiefs. Like we saw, like Remigio's good at it. We saw him have a couple of big returns last week, fumbled at the end of one of them, but like you worry about his hands. But if they could get some impact in special teams from Xavier Worthy because Rashee Rice is a full go, because you have him and Hollywood Brown and Royals, and you don't have to have Worthy be your primary wide receiver, because you don't want to make there's a reason Tyreek Hill stopped returning punts, right? He was your primary wide receiver.
Yeah.
So if you can keep Xavier Worthy from having to be your primary wide receiver, you get more of him in the punt return game. That's an exciting dynamic for this year's team.
I would like to have some sort of dynamic element to that. That would be nice.
You saw how helpful that was for an offense that was struggling last year when Remigio popped a couple of big ones late in the year and in the playoffs.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It'd be something that the Chiefs have really been missing for quite a long time. I also just hope they stick with a guy. Okay, Nico Remigio, it is your job. Let me rephrase. Get it right in camp so you don't have to make a bunch of changes on the fly. Just get it right from the start.
Yeah,
that's always what you need.
Like they didn't with Sky Moore that one year when they made him the punt returner, and it was a disaster. We're gonna take a quick break, but first, no baseball tonight. The Royals and Cardinals game has been postponed due to inclement weather in the St. Louis area. It will be a split doubleheader tomorrow, which is the worst case scenario for us as far as work we have to do. Game 1 of tomorrow's Royals-Cardinal doubleheader will start at 12:45 p.m., so assuming a 12 o'clock pregame show for that. Then we'll come on the air basically after the game, and then Game 2 will start at the originally scheduled time of 6:45 p.m.
When's the first
tomorrow? 12:45.
12:45. Okay.
So noon pregame on the Royals Baseball Network tomorrow. First pitch 12:45. Actually, kind of helps the Royals because they'll be able to activate Reagans, but they don't have to send anybody back to Omaha. They can keep somebody with 27th man and keep a deeper bullpen. So that's the presumption anyway, that they're going to activate Reagans tomorrow to start. Cameron and Reagans, I would anticipate will start with another Monday off day coming up. But anyway, that is breaking. The Royals and Cardinals have been washed out tonight. There will be a doubleheader tomorrow. We'll take a break. We got What Is Wrong With You? That's never rained out. That's next on 580 Sports Talk. What is wrong with you on 580 Sports Talk is brought to you by State Farm agent Ryan Mo Winkle Insurance and Financial Services. Get the lowdown on what Mo knows. Give him a call, 785-273-1572. Our current weekly champion won the lotto, lost the girl and the money. Guy won $3.6 million American, $5 million Canadian in the lottery in Winnipeg. And gave the ticket to his girlfriend, and she took it, deposited it in her bank account because he didn't have an ID or a bank account. She ran off with the money and another guy. And he is suing the woman and the lottery.
But, if this guy had an ID and a bank account, this could have been avoided.
Yes.
Or is better in bed.
Yeah, that's also, if he had a little more riz.
Get your game up in the sack, bro.
Yeah, step your game up, big dog. That's tough.
He's taking her to get steaks. You're taking her to go get McDonald's.
I understand suing the woman over the money aspect of it, but you're hurt. That's why you're suing the lottery and Manitoba Liquor and Lottery. So you're suing the store.
What he say bleep me for?
He's hurting. Anyway, 2 news stories today. Spencer has a story. Go first.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Deltona, Florida, not Daytona, Deltona. A 20-year-old man who had a ski mask on his head while carrying gloves, a knife, and tools was arrested after he was caught prowling at a neighborhood there on his way to watch his ex-girlfriend sleep.
Yuck! Boo! Yuck! Gross.
Jalen Vallejos was arrested early Monday in Volusia County on charges of aggravated stalking, attempted burglary, loitering, or prowling, possession of burglary tools, and criminal mischief. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office said deputies located him walking in the neighborhood while attempting to conceal his face. That ski mask on his head, gloves in his pocket, along with a knife and lock-picking tools, according to deputies. He admitted to the sheriff's deputies that he was on his way to his ex-girlfriend's house to watch her while she slept.
Oh, okay. This interaction between him and the deputy is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Quote, you did intend to go there and watch her? The deputy asks. Yes. I don't break in. I just watch her from outside. Ew.
But then why does he have a lock-picking tool?
Yeah. He got all kinds of stuff. He said he wasn't sure of his intentions on this night, but he was afraid his actions could escalate. Yeah, this is the person that deeply needs help.
Yes.
I do have one gripe with one of the charges here. Loitering or prowling.
Yeah,
those are
one.
Very different.
Yeah,
I have loitered many times. I have never prowled.
Yeah. You can loiter without prowling, but I don't know if you can prowl without loitering.
Yeah, I think of loitering as harmless generally. You're just kind of taking up space.
My story is also from Volusia County, Florida, where he arrested one of their own after she was busted riding her personal motorcycle with a fake license tag that said, "Chase me." The last E was a 3. 26-year-old Erica Muzzy, that's Deputy Erica Muzzy, stands accused of possession of counterfeit license plates. Around 9 p.m. Saturday in Deltona, deputies, busy weekend there, when deputies spotted a motorcyclist at a Wawa who'd earlier fled a traffic stop. That rider was with a group of motorcyclists that included Muzzy. As deputies were trying to arrest that motorcyclist, he called over to Muzzy, who became argumentative with them. Deputies noted the fictitious plate on Muzzy's motorcycle. Instead of having it towed, she chose to drive it away with the fake tag flipped up. Deputies later pulled her over on Interstate 4. Body camera footage showed Muzzy step off her bike and again become argumentative with deputies, saying, "I was just told I was good to go. Why wouldn't they tell me I was good to go if I wasn't?" After she received her Miranda warning, she told deputies she knew it was illegal to ride a vehicle with fake tags. She switches out her real license plate with a prop tag for photographs and forgot to put the legal one back on the bike. After her arrest, the sheriff's office became aware of a social media account associated with Muzzy that showed her recklessly stunt riding on public roads.
Oh,
rather than resign from the agency, she was rather than get fired, she resigned from the agency.
No. You got to fire her right away. Do not let her take control of the narrative. All right, I'm going to vote for this one today. She's very dumb. Spencer, your story grosses me out. Not like you posting it grosses me out, but ew. Watching her sleep, gross, weird, bad, ew. This woman's dumb. Very, very dumb.
The dumb deputy, does that beat the guy who's suing his girlfriend for leaving him with the winning lottery ticket?
No, I'm keeping that one in the driver's seat.
That one's strong. Won the lotto, lost the girl and the money. That persists is our What Is Wrong With You winner. Again, sponsored by State Farm agent Ryan Mo Winkle Insurance and Financial Services. When we come back, it's Wildcat Wrap-up with pinch hitter Ryan Gilbert of GoPowerCat.com on 580 Sports Talk. Yeah, it's not our typical intro to the Wildcat Wrap-up, but we do not have our typical guest today joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. A pinch hit appearance for Tim Fitzgerald from Ryan Gilbert of GoPowerCat.com, one of the outstanding staff members who covers the Cats as part of the 24/7 Sports Network coverage of all things K-State. Go be a VIP subscriber today and get all of the great inside info. Ryan Gilbert joins us for the Wildcat Wrap-up here on 580 Sports Talk. And boy, Ryan, you picked a good day to come on the program. There's plenty going on. We'll start on the hardwood. I have practiced this name all day, and I still might get it wrong. Elias Repiek is the newest member of the Kansas State men's basketball roster. The 6'8" German forward finally committed, and K-State getting a big man. What are they getting in Elias?
Well, your guess is as good as mine on the name. I'll go with what you have there. Obviously, it's an overseas player from Germany. That's something different that Jerome Tang and his staff have done this offseason. This is the second guy they've landed from overseas. Andre Kostic was from Serbia. Now they've got Repiek, however you want to say that, right?
I think it is
Germany.
Repiak. I think
Okay.
I heard it in a press conference on a YouTube video. So I'm going to go with Repiak, but I could be wrong.
Okay. We'll go with that. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's a 21-year-old, and so that's a little bit different than getting a guy out of high school who's going to come in as a freshman and maybe have to learn and develop, fine-tune those skills, right? You're going to get a player that's going to come in and just be much more polished, right? And you look at the AAU circuit, there's a lot of self-centric, guys are trying to prove themselves, and you're not necessarily trying to win. Whereas overseas, I think you're going to see a player coming in here to this program that's obviously, been a part of a team trying to win, being a team player. So it's fascinating to see this staff kind of go overseas. Now they've gotten two notable players, a lot of potential. Kostic, the other one has NBA draft lottery projections by some. So, they check all the boxes in the recruitment trail, and now it's, once the season hits, we'll see if they work out. But for now, it's very encouraging.
So Repiak is 6'8", listed at 6'8". I've seen him also listed at 6'7" in some other places. This is not a K-State team that has a particular surplus of size. What right now does the front court mix look like for K-State? And are they just going to go into next year and figure, okay, we don't have anybody 6'9" or above, we're just going to live with that and play that way? Or they have some more irons in the fire, maybe a chance to bring in one more actual big or tall at the very minimum?
Well, you look back to last year, and K-State had Ugo and Yenso, and then the year before that it was Jerome Colbert. And so you've seen those big bona fide centers on a Jerome Tang coach team. But go back to his first year, and David Gasson and Naquan Tomlin were kind of the two bigs that played prominent minutes for the Wildcats in a very successful season. And so I think Jerome Tang and his staff are perfectly fine. They're content with maybe not having one of those big bullying presences, in the paint. Now, if some were to pop up and become available, who's a surefire starter, you'd gladly take that. But Tang is okay with maybe not riding with a true number 5, for the upcoming season. And that's probably how they rolled heading into this offseason, knowing that they want to play maybe a little bit smaller, right? Play quicker, faster, with more versatile athletes. And, there's a number of reasons, of course, why K-State struggled each of the last 2 years. But, the fact of the matter is that they had more centers, right? And you go back to year number 1, a much more better team. K-State didn't necessarily have that. So I think Tang and the staff are fine with Repiak maybe being the 4, right? I don't assume he'd play the 5, but you never know, maybe. I think they're okay with playing smaller, though.
So between Repiak and Andre Kostic, the other international player committed to Kansas State men's basketball, what is a reasonable expectation for what those two can bring? Repiak is older, so maybe a little bit more expected from him right out of the gate, where Kostic is only 18. Is the expectation that those two can come in and start and be above average Big 12 players right away, or is this really any possible outcome from the first to the 99th percentile is possible for these guys?
Of course, anything can happen. I believe Kostic has a much higher ceiling than Repiak. I do believe that Repiak does have probably a higher floor, of course, just with the age, right? That's natural to just be more developed at this point in time. I know Fitz did a daily delivery on Kostic, maybe running the point. He's got good ball skills. He's obviously, I think, 6'5", 6'6", so he'd be a darn big point guard. But I said this a moment ago, got NBA lottery, potential. And so he can be a true difference maker. I think Kostic could be a true difference maker for Kansas State. Now, how does everything translate as such a young player? Of course, that remains to be seen. You talk about a guy being a lottery pick in the future. A lot of that is based off of potential, the projections, right? So that's not necessarily to say he's going to be an all-star in year number 1 in college, but he still could be. So I think the ceiling is, through the roof with Kostic, whereas Repiak, I think you kind of know what you're getting. Probably not going to be a true difference maker that takes over a game. And you do have to remember, guys, that, PJ Haggerty is the dude on this team. And so, these two newcomers we're talking about here, of course, they can bring some nice things to the table, but if they don't have to be the superstar and you let PJ Haggerty be that guy to go get a bucket in crunch time, I think everybody's going to be okay with that.
Joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline is Ryan Gilbert of GoPowerCat.com for today's Wildcat Wrap-up. Make sure you're a VIP over at GoPowerCat so you can get all the inside scoops into what's going on with K-State basketball, football, and much more. Ryan, as it stands right now, before any other players get added, before there's any other exploration with the roster, etc., right now as it stands, do you think this is an NCAA tournament team?
I say yes. However, I said yes 365 days ago, last offseason.
Right.
That was not a good prediction, but that was the popular pick. There was a lot of reasons to be excited about that team, and it was just a group of newcomers that simply did not gel well together. A talented team, players brought stuff to the table, and we saw it during that 6-game winning streak. It just wasn't able to be consistently held together for the entire season. But I mean, PJ Haggerty is miles better than, I guess you could say Coleman Hawkins was the best player on last year's team, right? Like Tyler Perry, I think Haggerty's probably got more offensive weapons, more offensive attributes than Marquise Noel, right? You're probably looking at arguably Jerome Tang's best player he's ever had in Manhattan. So that right there alone gives you hope, gives you a chance to fight in the Big 12. And, we talk about a couple of these overseas guys. I love the pickup of Nate Johnson out of Akron. He's a winner, right? He's the MAC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year last year. A couple other pieces sprinkled in. I think K-State can make some noise. So I'll say yes, that the expectation I think has to be NCAA tournament for this team, and a lot can change. And you look at Taj Manning, Moby Ike Garuka, not going to be in all likelihood, star key players for this team. David Castillo, I think there's a world where you can write it to where he is maybe a true guy that competes for starting minutes. But other than those three players, everybody is a newcomer. So you do have to proceed with that caution, knowing what happened last year. It might sound good and everything might work out, sure, but these guys do have to learn how to play with each other, and that is not easy, as we've seen.
What is your biggest question regarding fit with this roster? And it doesn't even have to be, a built-in negative. Just when you look at it and say, okay, I can kind of squint, but I have some questions about it. Mine is Marcus Johnson, the transfer from Bowling Green, who has such a unique body type, 6'7", so he's not short by any means, but he is big. 265, I believe, is the listed weight. Very skilled. He scored 16 a game for an average Bowling Green team this past season. I'm just not exactly sure where he fits with Kostic and Nate Johnson and Kamari McGriff on the floor at the same time. Not bad. I'm curious about it. What would you say is your biggest curiosity when it comes to fit with this roster?
Well, you bring up a good point, because Marcus Johnson last year, he attempted hundreds of field goals. He had 198 3-point attempts, and so obviously he's just look at him like he's going to be interesting to follow and how he fits into this team. So I agree there. Taking a step and looking at the roster as a whole, I mentioned Johnson though with he's a guy that was a volume scorer. He took a lot of shots last year at Bowling Green. Of course, Nate Johnson, like I mentioned, he was the dude with Akron. Kamari McGriff was a guy, who was involved a lot. Of course, PJ Haggerty is, for his entire collegiate career has been that guy. And so that's probably what's intriguing is you've got so many players that are used to being the dude on their team now coming together, and there can only be, one guy who leads the team in field goal attempts, right? So that's going to be a challenge for maybe some of these players. And I'm not saying they have bad attitudes or bad egos, but just accepting that you're coming from a place where you were the number one to now you're just in that starting five, maybe, but taking a little bit of a back seat to probably PJ Haggerty. So that's, how this all fits together, how these guys understand their roles. And of course you want guys to be aggressive and be assertive. At the same time, though, not everybody can shoot it on one possession, right? There's only, one guy who can take up a shot unless you get a rebound for that whole possession. So that's where I think it's most interesting is you've got so many guys that are used to being the dude now coming in here to Manhattan where they're not going to be maybe the dude. And Marcus Johnson's probably, one of the better examples of that. But there's a number of guys that fit that criteria as well.
Ryan Gilbert of GoPowerCat.com is our guest here for the Wildcat Wrap-up on 580 Sports Talk. Ryan, we'll get you out of here on this note. Been a busy weekend and beyond, busy week, I should say, for K-State football. A lot of commitments coming in this week. Tanner West, a playmaker out of Texas, a couple of offensive linemen, and Keegan Collins and Justin Morales today, a quarterback and a lefty quarterback at that, Miles Teodecki. Which of these recruits that has committed in the last few days is the most exciting one for K-State?
Well, I don't want to let the recency bias get to me here, but today on Wednesday, a lefty quarterback, I think that's very intriguing. You've got your guy. in the 2026 class, right? You've got your dude there. He's not obviously as highly recruited as a guy like Avery Johnson was, but he's a guy that can fling it. I think he's got upside, and maybe there's some stuff that needs to be worked out there. But the offensive line has been incredible. The work they've been able to, half of the recruits right now or commits right now are from with the offensive line. So they've been doing some incredible work there. But I think the sexiness of a quarterback has to take the cake for me.
Ryan Gilbert, part of the outstanding GoPowerCat.com staff. GoPowerCat, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. Become a VIP subscriber today. Get the lowdown on all those new K-State football recruits and the new Kansas State men's basketball player. I may have butchered and Americanized it, Ryan. So if somebody gets mad at you for how you pronounce Elias Rapike or not.
Rapiak.
It's something in that vicinity, I believe. If somebody gets mad at you, you can blame me. Thanks for coming on today. We appreciate your time, and keep up the great work over at GoPowerCat.com.
Hey, I'll be sure to throw you guys under the bus next time somebody tells me I'm mispronouncing it. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, you bet. That is Ryan Gilbert. We'll step aside for a timeout. Come back, wrap up this hour of 580 Sports Talk. Our thanks again to Ryan Gilbert, GoPowerCat.com, for joining us, filling in this week for Tim Fitzgerald and the Wildcat Wrap-up. I did, man. I practiced it all day, and then I totally, Bostonized, New Yorkized Elias Rapiek's name, turned it into Repiak. I believe it is Rapiek. That would be the European-sounding pronunciation.
Yeah.
Maybe it turns into Repiak. I don't know. I can't wait to hear what Pete Souza calls him on an ESPN Plus broadcast.
Yeah.
Oh God. Ugh.
I just can't wait till there is a pronunciation in a guide.
And then they changed it mid-season, like with Moby Ikegaruke last year.
Real quick to that note, quick edition of Random Question Wednesday. Who's a play-by-play guy that you just can't stand? Thought about this last night. I saw a post on Blue Sky that made me think of it. Well, actually, I made the post.
Yeah. You're anti-Matt Vasgersian.
I think Matt Vasgersian sucks. I think he's genuinely bad at the job. I do not know why he's been able to get these high-profile gigs for 25 years.
Who's the dang guy that called the Royals playoff games?
Bob Costas.
Bob Costas?
End of career
Bob Costas
okay.
is so bad.
Terrible that last year. I agree with that.
You were at those games, Dan, so you didn't have to hear him
I
all
watched
the time. That's true, yeah. But he was Bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think Spiro Ditas lays it on a little too thick. Like, I think he's technically a fine broadcaster, but I think he spreads it on a little too thick sometimes.
I got one more. Right before, why am I forgetting?
I don't know. You got 10 seconds to get it right.
Troy and...
Tessitore?
No, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. Right before they switched, those last few years on Fox were so bad.
Also Tim Brando.
Yeah, Tim Brando might be my answer, too. Headlines, Big 12 quarterbacks, and more coming up in the final hour of 580 Sports Talk. Well, let's get it. Third and final hour of 580 Sports Talk on a Wednesday. Thanks for being with us. If you've been with us throughout, if you are just joining us, welcome on in. We appreciate you being here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our video stream. Our YouTube channel is 580 Sports Talk. Our Facebook page is WIBW News. One more hour of the show, and then we're going to hand it off to Dave Ramsey because there's no Royals baseball tonight. The Royals have been postponed due to rain. They'll play a split doubleheader tomorrow, 12:45 and 6:45 scheduled first pitch times. I wonder if that has anything to do with the weather, if they are concerned about the later game, or if there is a window between those two games where they think it is supposed to rain. I couldn't tell you, but that is the decision. So the Royals and the Cardinals will play two in St. Louis tomorrow, 12:45. The first one means we'll have pregame coverage here on 580 WIBW FM 104.9 from the Royals Baseball Network at noon. Following that game, you'll hear us, and then you'll get more Royals baseball after we're done. So that's the plan for Thursday. We
split doubleheaders are so stupid.
Yeah,
you a joke.
We, by the way, are the collective here. Dan Lucero, Brendan Wierzinski, and Spencer Dupuis with you for one more hour of the show, and we appreciate you being with us. We want to hear from you as we go along. The number to text is 785-272-9429, 785-272-9429. You can also, if you are watching on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, comment with us in the live chat and interact with not just your host, but also your fellow listeners. Again, the name of the YouTube channel is 580 Sports Talk. Go over and subscribe today to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Well, we were going to talk baseball this hour. We're going to preview Game 2 of the series tonight. I mean, we may as well. We may as
Game
well
2 of the series tomorrow.
May as well preview it. It's just going to be tomorrow afternoon. We don't know if it's going to be the same pitching matchup. Maybe the Royals mix and match a little bit. Matthew Liberatore was scheduled to start tomorrow for the Cardinals. Cole Reagan's scheduled to start. Or they have it listed as TBD, the Royals do for tomorrow, but the anticipation is that Cole Reagan's was going to be activated and start tomorrow. I don't know if they'll move it around, have Reagan start the day game, have switch him and Cameron. I don't know because it won't do any difference when it comes to like days of rest.
MLB's app on the at-bat app, it does have Noah Cameron starting Game 1. And
that's probably just moving, like extrapolating the.
Well, it has TBD for St. Louis, so I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that Matt Cotrero did any media availability today. If he did confirm the starting pitcher, maybe he did. I don't know, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. We're going to talk Big 12 quarterbacks as well. Bud Elliott and Smoke Dixon. What a great name, Smoke Dixon, of 24/7 Sports, ranked who they believe are the top 5 quarterbacks in the Big 12. No Jalen Daniels, and Avery Johnson too low for his level of talent. So we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Plus our 580 Sports Talk headlines and a playoff roundup. And your text, 785-272-9429. And your YouTube comments as well. Let's jump into the headlines, shall we? Let's begin our headlines today with the non-conference schedule for Kansas men's basketball was released in full today. Earlier, there was the announcement of a home-and-home series with UConn set to start this season in Lawrence, December 2nd. The UConn Huskies coming to Allen Fieldhouse. There will be a return trip. I believe that's next year. I think
yes,
that has been confirmed.
Yes.
Can you believe next year is 26-27?
Yeah, next year is the 26-27 season. That's when KU will make the return trip to Storrs/Hartford, wherever they decide to play that game. But the first meeting will be at Allen Fieldhouse, and it is part of this season's non-conference schedule, which, again, was released in full by the Jayhawks today. Most of it we knew. There are a couple body bag games that we didn't know about that were unveiled today, those bye games at home. We learned yesterday that KU would be playing an exhibition game at Louisville as part of their tune-up for the season. That will take place October 24th. KU will do a home exhibition against Fort Hays State on October 28th. Their first game that counts this year, a November 3rd, a Monday night, a home game against Green Bay, the Fighting Doug Gottliebs coming to town to cash a check.
I'm probably as excited for that game as any game on the schedule because, man, I hope KU wins by 80. Just beat the crap out of them. Maybe Doug Gottlieb will come out with his pants on backwards.
Very possible.
He's known for doing that at Allen Fieldhouse.
Yes, he is. I'm sure he'll be reminded of that by some fans.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple games that are just, I mean, truly just beat the tar out of against Green Bay.
They got the body bag games.
But like Texas A&M Corpus Christi, I mean, that's low major, but they've been to the NCAA tournament recently. Yeah. Princeton's not a bad program.
Yeah.
Small major again, in the Ivy League, but they've been competitive. The Players Era tournament, 18 teams. I don't know how they seed it. 16 of them, though, are high major. Like, you're going to play good teams there.
Yeah.
UConn, Duke, NC State, North Carolina. And then you mix that in with mid-majors like Davidson and Missouri.
Yeah,
and
we knew that was coming.
So there you go.
The first true road game for KU will be November 7th. That is a return trip to North Carolina after the Tar Heels played at Allen Fieldhouse last year. Texas A&M Corpus Christi, the Islanders come to Allen Fieldhouse Tuesday, November 11th. Saturday, November 15th, Princeton comes calling. Now it appears almost that it is a yearly tradition for Kansas to play an Ivy at home.
Yeah, no, that's been the case for a while. In fact, I didn't check the date on that one. Do you know what day they're playing?
Yes, November 15th.
Okay, yes. Thank you. I'm sorry, I got lost.
Last year it was in December when they played Brown.
That's been the pre-Christmas game for years. They played Harvard, Yale, Brown, all right before Christmas, like right around December 21st, 22nd. So getting that one in November is a little bit different.
Yeah, this will now be the prelude to the Champions Classic. So I will be betting Princeton to cover what I'm sure will be like an obnoxious spread. They're going to keep it close for 40 minutes. The absolute look-ahead spot for KU, because November 18th, Tuesday night, that is the Champions Classic at Madison Square Garden, where KU will meet Duke this season.
I'm so glad they've moved that back.
Do you think Duke's going to be preseason number one?
Probably.
They got a chance.
Yeah, I think Houston's going to be up there.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned the Players Era tournament. That's the one with the big NIL payouts for the winning teams.
Yeah, I also misspoke. I believe it's technically the Players Era Festival.
Oh.
I really don't know, because I didn't watch it last year. I don't know how they set it up, because there's multiple Big 12 teams there. Like Iowa State is also going. And it's 18 teams, so it's not just an even normal bracket setup. So I'm really not sure how Players Era works, but there's money involved.
Yep, it's a 4-day tournament. KU will play in Las Vegas. Then it is a return to Allen Fieldhouse December 2nd for that game against UConn before the Border Showdown, Border War, Sunday, December 7th. This one at the T-Mobile Center, so neutral turf for KU and Mizzou. Third straight year that they have played. More than 3 straight years, isn't it?
Yeah, this will be
fifth
4.
straight year. 4?
Or is this 5?
I think this is 5.
Trying to remember. National championship
it's the
team
last
played
one,
them.
though, that they have on contract right now. According
No,
to
they
said it. Swain said it when it came out. When we were talking about it, he said that it was the last one on contract right now.
So it's the 6th then, because it was a 6th game agreement. It was 2 in Lawrence, 2 in Columbia, 2 in Kansas City. I know that for certain.
I just remember Swain saying that it was the last one on the contract.
So why am I looking at why did it pull up the baseball one? I promise you that's not what
Thanks,
I'm looking
Google.
for.
Great product you got.
It's absolutely not what I'm looking for.
I know that CB played against them.
Yes, I remember.
Because he came out like a house of fire in that
lit
game.
them up. This will be the fifth straight year they played.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they have another one. I'm almost certain it was a 6-game setup.
With one more in Kansas City. Because
with
they've
2
done,
neutral and 2 on each home court.
Yeah, I think that might be right. Anyway, they play at the T-Mobile Center. That is December 7th, December 13th in Raleigh at North Carolina State, before rounding out the non-conference with a pair of home games against Towson, December 16th, and
Frank Mason Bowl.
Davidson on December 22nd, the pre-Christmas game.
Yeah, 2008 Elite 8 rematch.
Yeah.
That NC State game might be crazy, especially with KU going there. You got Darian Williams now. They're probably going to be pretty good because Will Wade,
really good coach,
kind of a jerk, but an awesome coach. That's going to be a wild environment down there in Raleigh.
Yeah.
It's a good schedule.
Yes, it is. It's a good schedule. It's a lot of competitive games. A fun one on the home floor with UConn, an opportunity to heckle Doug Gottlieb. Like,
God, Darren Peterson going for 30 in his college debut against Doug Gottlieb is going to be awesome.
That's our first headline. Brendan, give us the next one.
All right. First headline for me today. The Kansas City Chiefs are signing a former Super Bowl champion. Let's go with that. To a one-day contract. He is retiring a Kansas City Chief. That player is Dustin Colquitt. It is official. He is retiring. In fact, he has already signed his one-day contract. He did a photo op while he was signing it alongside Andy Reid and Dave Tobe. That is very funny. They're looking over his shoulder like they're his parents watching him sign a college acceptance letter.
How many punters get to do the one day?
Not many. I'll tell you that much.
There was a time, though, when you could have credibly argued that Dustin Colquitt was the best player on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes. No, that is absolutely a fact. Super Bowl champion in the Chiefs' first one of the modern era, Super Bowl 54, twice a Pro Bowler. He was a really good college punter as well. He was first-team All-SEC. He was a consensus All-American, in fact, in his junior season, 2003 at Tennessee. So, cool for Dustin Colquitt. Remember, he was with the Chiefs, and then he went away, and then he came back very briefly and didn't actually play in a game.
Yeah, I remember him going away. I don't remember him coming back.
Yeah, he came back. He did not play in the postseason when they lost to the Bengals.
Okay.
He was re-signed at that point. He has not played in several years.
Yeah, 2021 last time he appeared in an NFL game.
Yeah, 5 games for the Browns that season. But yeah, there were some real garbage Kansas City teams in there. He was drafted first played in 2005 with the Chiefs. He was with the team all the way through Super Bowl 54 when he was replaced by Tommy Townsend after that. Townsend, of course, replaced by Matt. What is field position Ariza this past season?
Finesse? Nope.
I hope he loses the job.
I think he might. I think there's an outside chance that happens. Anyway, next headline, Spencer.
Yes, to go back to our headline about Mizzou, they were supposed to play in 2021 at T-Mobile. I don't know if that got canceled because of COVID or something.
I believe it did.
But they're on like the contract. So Michael Swain was right in a way that it's the last one.
Okay.
They might have just canceled that game altogether.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
But next headline here for me. Let's talk about some college football here. Ryan Day of Ohio State says Big Ten deserves 4 automatic qualifier spots in the college football playoff. Ugh.
If I may quote President Trump, wrong.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah,
Form your own
please.
league. Get out of my face. I hate these people. You don't care about college sports. You bums.
Here are the quotes from Ryan Scared to Compete Day. Quote, "We're in the Big Ten," Day told ESPN, "and we have 18 teams and some of the best programs in the country. I feel like we deserve at least 4 automatic qualifiers. It only makes sense when you have 18 teams, especially the quality of teams that you would have in that many teams representing the Big Ten." Day would go on to say, quote, "If you don't have those automatic qualifiers, you're less likely to play a game like we're playing this year against Texas because it just won't make sense. If we do, then you're more likely to do that because we play 9 conference games in the Big Ten. The SEC doesn't, so it's not equal." I hate when proponents of the automatic qualifiers in the playoff system, they say, well, this makes it more likely that we'll play good teams in the non-conference because if it's harder to get into the playoff, we're not going to schedule anybody good in the non-conference. Well, what's the impetus? What does we benefit from scheduling good teams in the non-conference? Well, you benefit because, if you do a home and home, guaranteed sellout, guaranteed good.
Because you're not a coward?
Yes, because you want to compete, because you want to see how good your team actually is.
Ryan Day is trying to guarantee that he can keep getting in the playoff even when he loses to Michigan every
That's
year.
Exactly
That's
what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I hate this. Go form your own league. Go form your own league. Play all your games on Big ESPN at 3:30 in the afternoon because, a noon game, an 11 a.m. game. Oh, the horrors. I can't believe it.
Ohio State fans are ready to sue over the fact that their games keep getting played at noon. That's objectively the best time to play your football games is noon. That's the best time.
You know what? I've decided something. I've changed my tune. Ohio State, you should go farther. Not only should you file a lawsuit, you should boycott the season. Really show them that you mean business. Boycott the season. Big Ten football. You want to show that you're the best? Boycott them. Show them. College football can't exist without you. I am calling on our friends in Big Ten country to really stick it to the networks who wrote up contracts that you signed and are taking the money from, but you are now disagreeing with in the wake of them. Show them you mean business and boycott the season. Really stick it to the networks. Losers.
So,
well, we got to play a game at 11 o'clock. Oh, what are we going to do? Our fans can't tailgate and drink beer that they cooked up in their little meth lab in their backyard so we can beat Akron at 11. Ah! God! Shut up!
have I ever told
I
you?
hate these people.
Have I ever told you my theory that the only reason that there was a college football season in the COVID year of 2020 was because Ohio State had a really good team?
I agree completely.
If Ohio State had been in like a transition year, if Ohio State hadn't been good enough that year to win the national championship, the Big Ten would not have played football.
I agree.
They played football because they felt like they could get the money from Ohio State going to the playoff and winning a national championship. And then somebody had the bright idea to cover Devontae Smith with Tough Borland in the national championship game. And how'd that work out? Give you a hint. His name is Tough. His name ain't Fast.
Also, all these Ohio State people think they're above playing noon games. No. Get out of here. You play when the broadcast networks schedule you to play. That's how the contracts work.
You should want to play at noon. That's the best time to play.
Our tailgating culture. Go drink alone at your house like a normal American.
Yeah, man. Ryan Day, scared to compete, can't beat Michigan. He might be a national champion, but he is scared to compete and he can't beat Michigan. And those are the things that I will remember Ryan Day for. That and the Just for Men beard he's got going on. Nobody more obviously dyes their hair than Ryan Day.
All right, I can't rag on that because I've told my wife for years that as soon as I see a single gray hair, I'm buying dye.
See,
I'm too vain. I don't care.
Wow, really?
Oh, I don't care.
I'm embracing it. I can't wait to be a silver fox. I'm going to look hot. As soon as my beard goes all the way like silver and white, I'm going to look so hot. Like I'm going to be a very attractive middle-aged
I respect
man.
that. See, my wife tells me that, and it's very nice. Like I'm glad my wife still feels that I'm attractive. I'm going to dye my hair. I'm going to do it. I'm too vain.
Why would you not? You got like that perfect hair.
I got the flow. Yeah. Like I admit it. Like I don't want to be super vain. You know, biggest reason, I hope my endocrinologist isn't listening to this. The biggest reason I take shots of insulin instead of a pump, I don't want a pump on me. I don't want like the thing dangling off me. I'm too vain. I'm glad my eyes look good because I'm too vain to have glasses. I'm not scared to admit it.
Let's do one more headline, and we'll make this one quick because it is, I think, a relevant headline today, given what Kansas State has gotten today on the men's basketball side, the commitment from the German Elias Rapike committing to the K-State men's basketball program. In case you missed that, we talked to Ryan Gilbert all about it in the Wildcat Wrap-up in the 2:00 hour today show. There's this headline from ESPN. Coaches and international athletes grapple with U.S. visa uncertainties. Michael Rothstein and Dan Murphy reporting. College coaches and international athletes are stuck in an unnerving limbo, saying they're unsure how to plan for recent changes in U.S. student visa procedures that could potentially wreak havoc on their rosters this year. The State Department has confirmed it has stopped scheduling interviews for new student visa applicants. A brief pause would not cause problems for most college sports teams, but if the pause were to stretch late into the summer, it could severely impact some students' ability to reach campus in time to play their upcoming season. Early summer is a crucial window when many incoming international students typically schedule their visa interviews. They have some comments here from coaches who recruit internationally very heavily. Jeremy Schulman is the coach of men's basketball at the University of Tennessee Martin. They're going to have 12 international players on their roster this year. That's a lot. That's running. That's fascinating. I wonder how they do team meals. Anyway, Schulman's quotes in the story. The main guidance we've gotten is don't freak out yet. But that yet has been the key word. Says his roster would be, quote, decimated if they could not get players overseas. Vermont men's soccer coach Rob Dow won a national championship last season with 10 international players. 6 months later, he says his plans to bring in 3 blue-chip players could be in doubt if those recruits are unable to enter the country. None of them currently have visa appointments scheduled. It's just a ton of uncertainty, Dow told ESPN. Not really sure what is consistent here. There are more details in the story. A runner from Poland who plans to compete for Texas A&M told ESPN he is not concerned yet because Scholar Book, the international athlete placement agency that has helped with his recruitment, told him the pause shouldn't derail his plans. He asked ESPN to withhold his name for fear of reprisal 2025. Others aren't so sure, especially given the pace of recent immigration edicts targeting international students. Immigration attorney Amy Maldonado quoted in the article, the implication is that once they have everything figured out, they're going to get the process back up and running, but I don't trust them or believe anything they say. Again, that is an immigration lawyer speaking. Thomas Bojanowski founded Scholar Book, which is an international athlete placement company. That's typically how it works. You have a kind of a go-between, a company that helps facilitate the players connecting with schools. And this you see a lot more in like the non-revenue, the Olympic sports, right? The players are connect with a program like Scholar Book. There's another one in here, Keystone Sports Germany, and that's how they get placed with these programs so that they can come and play their sport, but also get an education in an American university. And Scholar Book is one of those. Thomas Bojanowski, the founder of Scholar Book, said he has seen a 25 to 30% drop in interest from future students in the past 6 months. Philip Legions, the director of operations for Keystone Sports Germany, says his firm has seen enrollments for future classes drop nearly 50% in recent months. Universities are trying to answer questions from recruits as best they can. Coaches aren't sure what to tell current players when they ask if it's safe for them to leave the country. One Division I men's tennis coach says he has told his international players not to leave the country. Last year, the NCAA reported that more than 25,000 international athletes were enrolled in schools across its 3 divisions. In Division I, international students comprise 30 to 64% of rosters in a variety of sports such as tennis, ice hockey, soccer, and field hockey. Schulman's final quote in the article, these kids need and deserve this opportunity here in the States, and I'm hoping that we can get through so they can get this experience.
Yeah, I have wondered that, when we talk about spending a lot of time recruiting overseas, and I don't know. I'm not a political scientist. I have no idea what's going to happen. None of us do. But I have wondered, if it's going to be harder for folks to get work visas or whatever, for whatever reason, I'm not making a political statement here. It's, watch the news. If that's going to be harder, I imagine it's going to be harder to recruit these kids. So I'm very curious what that looks like long term. And it might not matter this year, but, next year and going forward.
Yeah, it is a story that certainly bears watching. And again, we talk all the time about, hey, keep the politics out of sports. Well, this is a story that is inextricably linked. Politics and sports are linked here in this story. And what happens politically, what happens with the State Department deciding to allow or not allow these student visa interviews could change how college sports rosters look. And that is that could affect some programs. That could affect not just, you think about the revenue sports first, right? And there aren't a lot of international football players, right? And there are some men's basketball players, but at the Power 5 schools, until recently, that's kind of been a drop in the bucket. A lot of those players will just play in their home countries. But in the non-revenue sports, and this is not just Division I here, go look at the rosters at Washburn University for tennis, golf. Look at the rosters at Kansas State for tennis, for golf.
I was thinking of Mo West. Their women's basketball team this year had something like 7 of their 10 players, which is a small roster anyway. I think 7 of their 10 were overseas players. And that coach, Ashton Feldhaus, she got the job at Morehead State, which is Division I, and brought most of those girls with her, the international players. So it's it's fascinating how this whole
my alma mater won a national championship in soccer with like 90% overseas players on the roster.
Lot of programs like that really depend on talent from overseas, and those kids, in return for their talents, they get an education in American university, land of opportunity, all that stuff. If that route is closed down, college athletics are going to look very, very different. Again, the hope the idea is that this is something that is a short-term pause of these visa interviews, and that that students are able to get to the United States and get with their programs, respective athletic programs, and practice and be able to participate. But that is very much in limbo right now in a way that it has not been in recent years. So that's our final headline. But we do have a playoff roundup today. After a brief pause, the playoff roundup is back.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
The Stanley Cup Final is underway tonight. Game 1 in Edmonton as the Oilers and Florida Panthers square off for a second straight year in the Cup Final. Last year, it was almost like two series in one. The Panthers sprinted out to a 3-0 lead. The Oilers won games 4, 5, and 6, but the Panthers took game 7 by a 2-1 score to win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. They're looking for a repeat. The Oilers are looking for their first cup since 1989 and the first Canadian Stanley Cup still since 1993. You remember the team won in 93?
The Montreal Canadiens.
That is correct, led by Patrick Waugh. Anyhow,
I believe it's Roy.
It is not. Predictions. Who's going to win the cup?
It is going to be Florida.
Yep, Florida. The Canadian.
I would rather
thing is
see
gonna
McDavid
continue.
win. I really would. But I think the very, very, very funny trend of Canada not winning the cup is going to continue.
I would love to pick the Oilers. I think they're really good. They're going to be missing one of their best players, Zach Hyman, with the dislocated wrist. That certainly doesn't help. He's going to miss the whole series. I would love to pick Edmonton. I think it would make sense. Like, all the great players have a cup, and Connor McDavid's maybe the best of his generation, and he's still missing that last part of his trophy case.
Yep.
It'd be very satisfying in that regard. But their goalie is Stuart Skinner, and Florida's is Sergei Bobrovsky, and I think that is the difference in this series.
100%.
So I'm going with the Panthers. I think they make fairly quick work of the Oilers. I think they win it in 5 this time.
I'll say 6.
You say 6? You got it?
I'm going to go 5.
All right. There you have it. That is your Stanley Cup Blood Bank lock picks. We're all going with the Panthers. We're all going fairly short series. That is your playoff roundup. And those are your 580 Sports Talk headlines. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, a list of the top 5 quarterbacks in the Big 12, according to 24/7 Sports. We'll discuss next on the program. 536 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan, Brendan, Spencer. Bud Elliott and Smoke Dixon of 24/7 Sports put out their list the other day of the top 5 quarterbacks in the Big 12 Conference entering 2025. Both had Sam Leavitt on the top of their board. Both had Sawyer Robertson of Baylor second. Both had Josh Hoover of TCU third. Both had Avery Johnson and Rocco Becht rounding out their list. There was a difference of opinion there. Bud Elliott had Avery Johnson fourth, Rocco Becht fifth. Smoke Dixon had the Iowa State quarterback fourth and the K-State signal caller fifth. First of all, are those, in whatever order you want to put them in, are those the 5 best quarterbacks in the Big 12?
No, Josh Hoover's not one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league. I don't care what the rest of the list looks like. He's not. I'm planting my flag there. He is not one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league.
I think I like Jaden Daniels better than him, too. Like, yeah. I think I would put Daniels above Josh Hoover if I were ranking the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I would. I don't believe in Hoover. I think he's too erratic.
Obviously, there are some off-the-field issues right now for Jake Ratzlaff that may end up precluding his participation in the 2025 season. But they're just allegations for now, but they are horrifying allegations. Is he snubbed here in the top 5?
I don't really think so, to be honest. I mean, he had a really good year.
He did.
But I don't think he's more talented than Baron Morton. I mean, Morton's hurt all the time, but I think Morton's a better player.
And Morton's super talented. He just can't get on the field.
Yeah, which is worrisome. Like, I don't know. Is Jake Ratzlaff better than Brendan Sorsby?
Again, talent-wise, I don't know. I might take Sorsby just like watching him warm up. I would probably lean Sorsby, but, you got to win some football games, too. That matters.
He wasn't great last year, but Colorado's new court. You know who's starting at Colorado this year?
Caden Salter, from Liberty.
Caden Salter in 2023. Now, they played nobody. They played like an easier schedule than a Division III team would play. But he was amazing in 2023. I think Caden Salter is a dark horse to be on this list come season's end, especially if they give him a lot of easy buttons in that offense. So
he was just, two problems with that. Number one, your coach is Pat Shurmur. And the offensive coordinator. And number 2, he was dramatically worse.
Yes, he was.
Last season.
He was.
For Liberty, to the point where, how much do we really trust him? Yeah, he had an awesome year where everything was great. Everything was great around him. But, last year, not so much for Caden Salter. So,
yeah, I'm not buying Hoover. And I don't know. I guess my opinion here is actually just that it's not a great year for quarterback play in the Big 12. I think it was 2 years ago where it looked really good. I just think it's not a great quarterback league going into this year. There's a lot of hype for Sawyer Robertson, and I see it.
He put up the numbers.
Yeah.
Crazy numbers second half of last season.
Yeah, I get it. I like him more than I like Hoover, certainly. I got questions about Leavitt. He was really good. I think he played above his talent level last year. I do.
I would say that. I think that's my takeaway looking at this list is I think that Avery Johnson is the most talented quarterback in the Big 12.
I don't really have an argument with that.
Man for man, like skill level for skill level, athlete for athlete. I think Avery Johnson is the best athlete at quarterback in the Big 12. And that, that can sound like I'm knocking him, and it's not. Like because an athlete doesn't mean, oh yeah, he's the best runner. Like I think he is the best runner, but I don't think that's why he's the best athlete. I think that he's the best runner combined with the arm talent that he has. I think that Avery Johnson as a sophomore did not play as the best quarterback in the Big 12. And certainly I think performance-wise, the argument is there to put him below guys like Leavitt, who, again, quarterback the Big 12 champs. Like I'm not going to argue with anybody who wants to say Leavitt's the best quarterback in the Big 12 because they did win the Big 12 last year and he was very good.
Yeah.
But I also think that he is not like his ceiling isn't Avery Johnson's ceiling. That might be what I'm really trying to drive at here, is that Avery Johnson's ceiling is higher than anybody else on this list. And that if year 2 in the Matt Wells offense, working with Matt Wells, maybe a little bit better receiver play, more consistent taking care of the ball, better health, I think that by the end of the season, we should be talking about Avery Johnson as the best quarterback in the Big 12. He should be on the top of the list because I think his ceiling is higher than anybody else's.
That's why he was my biggest question for when we talked about that last week, going into this year, going into this summer and eventually fall camp about K-State was how close to his ceiling, how close to his best possible outcome can Avery Johnson get this year? Because one, if he gets there will not be a 2026 at K-State because he's going to go to the NFL.
Right.
That's the kind of talent level we're talking about. The other side of that is if he stays where he was this past year, that is a good college quarterback. That's not an NFL prospect, let alone draft pick. Like that's just not an NFL guy, in my opinion. The talent level is undeniable. He's fast. I think he's actually pretty tough. He's slight of build. I think he's a tough player, though. I think he has shown accuracy. He has shown arm strength. He's shown mobility, not just in the ability to scramble, but in the ability to maneuver in the pocket. I think he's got he doesn't have height. Or bulk. I mean, those are the things he doesn't have.
I think I get a little stronger.
But in terms of the skills, he's got the ability to do all of it. It's a matter of putting it together and combining it with the mental part of the game. Not that he's an idiot by any means, but I do think there are some moments where he lacked situational awareness this past season. You can't have that if you want to be that guy. So I'm in full agreement with you. I think ceiling-wise, it's Avery Johnson, and other than Robertson, I'm not sure it's all that close. Levitt's a good athlete. I mean, Sam Levitt as a really, can be a really good college quarterback. I just am not sure he's actually as good as we saw through a lot of this past season. And if I'm wrong, well, congrats to Sam Levitt. That means he's a really dang good player. I would say probably that would be my top three. I think Jalen, Daniel, like a couple of these guys. Well, look, man, are you healthy? Are you going to be on the field? And what are we going to get? Are we going to get the Jalen Daniels that played in games 7 through 11 last season? That was, oh yeah, that's the dude that won the September Heisman in 2022.
Right.
Or are we going to get the guy in the first half of the season who looked like he was learning to play football on the fly as a 23-year-old?
I would imagine we get closer second half.
I hope
Jalen Daniels than we did first half Jalen Daniels.
KU can win 8 games or more if he's that guy. It's just, is his back going to hold up? And I hate that has to be the talking point, but that has to be the talking point.
I kind of nitpick at these guys. I based on some of the games I've watched, like Rocco Beck tried so hard to give K-State the game last year for Iowa State. He tried so hard to throw them 6 different interceptions, and K-State's defensive backs just would not accept the gifts. Would not do it. I think he's going to grow too because he'll be in his 3rd year as a starter, and Sam Levitt's going to be his 2nd year as a starter. Sawyer Robertson's 2nd year as a starter. All these guys have a chance to grow, and I don't think anybody would have ranked, 3 years ago, anybody would have put Max Duggan and Will Howard very high on their list of Big 12 starting quarterbacks, and those guys ended up starting against each other in the Big 12 championship game. So you never know. But I stand by the assertion that there is nobody in the Big 12 with a higher ceiling at quarterback than Avery Johnson. And that, honestly, I think Jalen Daniels is in that discussion for guys behind Avery Johnson when it comes to ceiling, because we've seen what his ceiling looks like. Mm-hmm. And his best football as a Jayhawk, which, again, we probably saw that in 2022, his best football as a Jayhawk's been better than I think anything like a Hoover or a Beck or even a Levitt are capable of. But are we going to get that for a full season? That's the $64,000 question for the Jayhawks.
I think the more I look at this league of quarterbacks, I don't think I'd put Hoover any higher than 7. I would put him behind Avery. I would put him behind Beck. I would put him behind Daniels. And honestly, I might put him behind Baron Morton.
Yeah, I really like Baron Morton. He's
just got to be, again, like Jalen, he's got to be healthy. One wild card, it's very funny. I'm looking at the ranking from the Utah or the Salt Lake City Deseret, the paper that's owned by BYU.
Are you talking the Utah quarterback?
Yes, Devin Dampier.
Oh, yeah.
Who was at New Mexico last year. Only completed 58% of his passes, not in 12 touchdowns, 12 picks. He ran for over 1,100 yards.
Crazy athlete.
That, to me, is a wild card because, if you're going to throw an equal number of TDs and interceptions, they're going to win 4 games. But that running ability is extremely... He had 19 rushing touchdowns. And again, playing at New Mexico in a Mountain West schedule.
Yeah, they were kind of playing a backyard offense. It was just kind of him improvising. We'll see what it looks like with a little bit more.
I would put him as my highest risk, highest reward player in the league. Like, I think Avery's got a pretty high floor. I don't think he's a high risk player.
I think last year represents his floor when it comes to like ball security, decision making. I think last season represents his floor. That's still a top 5 quarterback in the conference. I'm excited to see him get closer to his ceiling next year.
It's crazy how much Noah Fafita has fallen off, by the way.
Really?
Not even talking about him.
Not even on the radar on that list.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at from the Deseret News has him 12th.
See, and it's not just him; it's the talent level around him that has fallen off so bad. I think,
and possibly coaching.
And for sure. Brent Brennan might be in trouble there in Tucson. We'll take a break. We'll come back and wrap up with a little bit of Royals talk. We got a final word still to come here on 580 Sports Talk. No Royals baseball tonight, in case you missed the news earlier. About an hour and a half, game got banged. Bad weather in St. Louis. They're going to play a split doubleheader tomorrow, 12:45, first pitch for game 1. Ann Rogers of MLB.com covers the Royals, confirmed that it will be Noah Cameron who starts the opener tomorrow. Cole Reagans will be activated from the injured list to start game 2. I guess you could do a little bit of a manipulation there. You can make a roster move after game 1. So you use a reliever and figure out who you can option down. Assuming it's going to be Andrew Hoffman. That'll probably be the move. And then Hoffman can hang around, be the 27th man for the doubleheader. So, you got that. You can do a little bit of a service time manipulation there. But it will be Noah Cameron tomorrow in the early game. Thinking it'll probably be Miles Michaelis still for St. Louis. Noah Cameron will be seeing St. Louis for a second time. Pitched against him on May 17th. He was really good. Like all of his other starts, pitched into the 7th and only allowed a run. Like every one of his starts. Yep. That's how they've all been, the first 4 starts. And with Michael Lorenzen's recent struggles, the door is wide open for Noah Cameron to walk right through and be the 5th starter in the Kansas City rotation. I think he's going to be. I think he has had his last wet eggs at a Hampton Inn in the Pacific Coast League for some time.
What a gross phrase.
Do you not like that?
What a disgusting thing to have to envision.
I don't remember where it was that I saw that. It was like, what things like college baseball players? What defines your college baseball experience? It was that Steven Skoke from Virginia who did a podcast for a while after his college days. He said wet eggs.
That is like so nasty.
Those soggy buffet eggs at a continental breakfast. So Yeah, I hope Noah Cameron doesn't miss wet eggs because they eat better than that in the show.
Man,
I'm so glad I got to introduce wet eggs.
that's so gross.
if you've ever lived that life, like if you've ever been on the road with a team, serve breakfast till 9, you get up, maybe they've got a waffle maker if you're lucky.
See, the waffle maker's the elite part of it.
They got the spinny cereal dispensers where it breaks all your cornflakes in two before you even get them in the bowl.
Yeah.
And you got the orange and apple juice dispenser, and you got wet eggs.
God, that's so nasty. I usually, last time I was in a hotel when I went to Evansville for the D2 Elite 8, I think every morning I just grabbed a dry bagel out of the bread holder. I think that's what I did.
Peanut butter or cream cheese? Or did you just eat raw dog the bagel?
Peanut butter. Wow, wild move. No, I do
that's a good move. I like that move.
It depends on what the bagel is. But yeah, peanut butter on a bagel. Like you get a cinnamon bagel with a peanut butter.
Oh, I wouldn't eat a cinnamon bagel.
Why not? Those are really good bagels.
They
Even
are.
a blueberry with a little peanut butter. It goes crazy.
I also wouldn't get a blueberry bagel.
Warm it up. You warm it up, or is just
I would get a plain bagel. If that's not an option, I'd get a sesame seed bagel.
Plain bagel,
which is a plain bagel with seeds.
well, eat a hot dog bun at that point.
That sounds delicious. I would love to eat
Plain
a hot dog
bread.
bun. That sounds great. And yeah, I do butter. I don't do cream cheese. I do butter.
Butter's fine.
butter it is.
Butter
Cream
me
cheese is-
You're covered in butter. Just
Man,
slather
you get
it.
like a good everything bagel with some cream cheese or blueberry bagel with peanut. Put some more respect on bagels. Love yourself enough to upgrade your bagel experience.
No, see, I like a good plain bagel. Okay, that's fine with me. I, however, come from the Vince Staples school of bagels. Vince Staples, the rapper, who once put on Twitter on October 30th, 2022, "Today I learned that y'all really out here eating bagels. I am both flustered and disgusted." He then later would go on to say, when someone pushed back on that, "I'll eat a gun before I eat a bagel."
Well,
I don't eat all sorts of like stuff. Oh God! And if you put like chocolate chips in it, just throw it out already.
What are you talking about?
Same with pancakes, chocolate chip pancakes. Oh, disgusting. Ugh.
Nah, you're just saying
Vile.
You're just saying things to say things.
No, I'm serious.
No, this
I eat chocolate with every meal. I'm gonna go eat a handful of M&Ms on my way out the door.
I don't know.
today.
Chocolate pancakes do go hard.
Oh, gross, nasty.
What?
Oh, way too weirdly sweet. Ugh.
Weirdly sweet?
Yeah, because the sweetness comes from the syrup.
Yeah, just nothing but plain bagels for me over here.
Yeah, don't need to toast them either.
Plain,
Just nice and dry.
room temp plain bagels for Brendan.
That sounds so good.
As for me, I will have the wet eggs. We'll take a break, come back with the final word. All right, final word time. BD, make it quick.
There are not going to be a lot of 0 for 5s for Jac Caglianone. If he's going to hit the ball that hard, that consistently, 97 miles an hour on average, he's going to be just fine.
SD, make it quick.
Yes, we've gotten more Kansas State basketball players. The roster is turning out. I'm going to wait until we get a pronunciation to say his name again. I've said it a couple times today, and I'm not going to say it again. But
he's the Big E.
Yeah, once we get the pronunciation, it's going to be wrong halfway through the year.
Final word for me. I may as well address this since some of you in the YouTube comments and multiple texters to the text line mentioned it today. But congratulations to me, because the Colorado Rockies have won 3 consecutive games for the first time in the 2025 season. They swept the Miami Marlins in Miami, which is hysterical because historically they've never played well in Miami. Like, they've been terrible in that ballpark in particular. But they swept the Marlins, 3 straight wins. And if the Rockies don't lose again in the month of June, and at this point, why would you expect them to? They're the hottest team in the National League. If they don't lose again in June, they would be only 16 games under 500. That's really, really bad. But hey, you know what? We're riding high. The Rock Show is riding high. And thank you for the congratulations from the text line in the comments. We're back tomorrow after Royals baseball until 6 o'clock. We will hand it off to more Royals baseball. It's a doubleheader tomorrow. For Brendan and Spencer, I'm Dan. Good night.